We're on. We are. Everyone can hear us. We still got the starting soon screen because Play TEPPEN pointed out Red Catman's Four Horsemen
Yes. Yes.
of the TEPPEN apocalypse. Yeah,
Play tap tap.
that is fresh from Red Catman. He made that for us a couple weeks ago. Looking pretty fancy. How is everybody? Oh wait, I forgot background. Background music.
I'm good,
Doing
brother.
alright?
How are you?
I'm great. We got another host. Got the Thirsty Games.
Host.
The Forever the Thirsty Games.
I think I'm hosting you automatically, but let me see here.
Autumn.
I think I
I'll
have
host.
you on
Normally
auto host.
hosted automatically, but it was hosting someone else, so I
Oh,
made
okay.
a big host of one viewer.
Yeah, I got you now.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'll host too
Big,
when I get to my computer.
the big host.
When I find it. Oh wait, let me.
Oh my
Is it
god,
still?
this emote is
It's
beautiful.
still. Dude, let me bring this over here so everyone can see. But still got Iowa's video and Ryan's video up here in the TEPPEN channel. And apparently a lot more people are playing this Lockout Morgan.
The reindeer stare. Oh, no.
Lockout Morgan. What kind of deck is that?
What kind of deck is that?
You wouldn't get it.
You better understand.
What YouTube channel can I go to comment, like, and subscribe on such a deck?
Oh man.
Do you think they reviewed the video before putting it on the TEPPEN channel?
I would
Yeah.
assume yes.
Yeah.
And did they ever
definitely tell
consider
you, yeah.
what did you ever consider what damage that they would have caused for uploading that video on their channel?
No, I don't care anymore. Worlds is already in.
It's too late.
Yeah.
The biggest thing
Just
for
saying.
me is, like, I was very adamant on not putting out any broken decks for the qualifiers and Worlds. So any broken decks I would only share with people that I was trying to help for Worlds, and then also help myself for the qualifiers, which clearly didn't work out. But it is what it is.
Tough
Now I don't
competition.
care. I'll just put out any deck.
He's only sharing broken decks with broken players.
Dang. Get the audio for my phone. But we got ourselves quite a schedule tonight. Not really a schedule, but an agenda. But what are you guys looking forward to? We posted the topics in the tweet. It's in the title. What are you guys looking forward to?
TEPPEN World
Or talk
Championships
about the
2020.
world, yeah.
God damn it.
Worlds, yeah. These
Worlds talk.
spec picks, man. We should mention in game the EXGP just ended, the one with Colleen and Bombaro, right?
Yes.
And the upcoming one is tomorrow at reset. It says the 15th, and the mode is going to be MP 150% and AP 150%. So have fun.
Ooh, that's
Unit
new.
with dungeon time.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
But you can do free matches with that right now, and the day one of the regular Grand Prix celebrating Worlds is still going on for a good, I think about 3 days. It says 2 days and 22 hours, basically 3 days. So you still have time to try and make it to round A, or bracket A in the second round, whatever.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
Same.
Super bad about that. I'll like wait. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, round 2? Okay. Gucci and Oracle with the resub. Much appreciated. You guys are coming up on that. I think it's actually 1 year you get the Salamando icon. That's cool. Getting close.
Can I
Why not
just
try
complain about
today?
that 2020 homework emote for a second? Well, who puts Christmas lights on the back of their laptop? Like, is that a laptop? Is that what's going on there?
I have no clue.
I guess that
It
is.
looks like a laptop.
It's to celebrate 2020 because there's a lot to celebrate, right, guys?
That is like the worst idea ever.
Yep. Pretty good year. What about you guys?
Why not try today? Because a very fragile ego. I don't know how many tickets do I
Same.
have. 12 tickets.
we-
Oh, how did?
Probably have a ton of
How
tickets.
does
Yeah.
Iowa have 1 billion tickets? I saw him and he's like 30. I was like, oh, that means I have like 40, right? It's like, nah.
I would try to play Mallet because you only get a certain amount of tries per day.
Yeah.
So if you fail like the first time, cool, then you can try again the next day. But if you wait till like the last day, you only get a certain amount of tries, and then that's it.
Yeah, I know I don't typically, like when I take it seriously, doesn't take that much any tries for me to get in, but I'm just like, I want to go in with something I like to play and then switch to the serious stuff. But I'm also like, just the thought of it is kind of stressful, so I'm like, I'm just gonna chill. Wait until
It's
I
all sets,
stream.
right?
It's all sets,
Is it
yeah.
all sets? Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I actually was not gonna do it, but because I was streaming, I was like, okay, I'll just do it because
Yeah.
I'm streaming anyways. I'm playing games anyways. I'll just do it. It is stressful. Like Grand Prix, they are never just like, oh, I'm gonna have a great time getting my butt whooped.
I'm gonna have a great
one more
time.
win.
Great
When I
time.
just need one more win, and then you just lose to like some random stuff like zero attack or lockout Morgan.
Well, you went. You
Well,
did your. Did you get
yeah.
4-1 or did you go 5-0?
4-1.
Hmm,
4-1, yeah.
that's okay.
But
Think-
I made a lot of people mad today.
Mhm.
I don't
And
know if
isn't
you
that the
guys saw
goal, dude?
games.
Isn't that the goal of Teppen?
That one Amy player just literally walked away. I could tell they weren't looking at their phone anymore at one point.
Yeah.
They just walked away.
A lot of the games I was just like at an inch of death. So just winning from being at 2 or 4 health is I think it's pretty cringy. If I had to fight against that, I would be upset. I would be like, man, why the heck is this Morgan player winning?
5-0 game.
Watch the YouTube video.
The only 5-0 that matters is the final round, so.
Yep.
Can't.
Yeah, you
Which
don't
I
even
will
get like
never
a
get.
special achievement for it, but you do have an objective to get 5 wins total, right? Event complete one
Oh,
Grand
that's for the
Prix.
EXG, I think,
Oh,
is it?
okay, yeah.
Or is it Grand Prix also?
It is Holiday EX Grand Prix, but you get the
Yeah.
you get the player icon if you complete 1 Grand Prix.
That's really hard.
I don't know how I'm gonna do
Um,
it.
I haven't been able
Actually-
to do it all week.
You get it by just playing one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I
get
already have the
I think you get like the special packs for more wins, but the icon is very easy to get. You just have to participate.
Yep, just one game.
The packs take a little bit more effort though.
Y'all want to see a fun deck just to get us all warmed up, dude? This deck I thought of as a unit only Shura Senku deck, which sounds
only.
like a big like contradiction. And it did not go very well, but I figured, hey, what if I just have a bunch of victory units and I could just like slide them into place and be invincible? It's got to happen once or twice, right?
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
It seemed okay on paper. I know it was not going to be popping off against everybody because I don't have a bunch of destroys or a bunch of actions to counter other actions, but it was fun to make this. Yikes. But if you want to have a fun deck to play against your friends and then get mad when they start playing a bunch of actions, here you go.
Nice.
Hey, I mean, Schmo already calling me out. Hey, I wanted to try and make it fun. I figured, what's a hero art I've never played with before, and
Don't
You
listen
know.
to Schmo. He sold his soul like 50 times over since he was like, hey, not playing mono green is good.
I know, right? I felt really weird when he was
Schmo
just
out
like
here.
red black dive bomb. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
all right. GB human Ashura. I mean, that's that shell, right? If I can go to champion with fucking change form with that, I'm sure you can get pretty far with an actual good hero art. But,
Schmo unfortunately fell victim to what I like to call aggro brain, where once you go aggro, it's really hard to go back to playing normal decks. And most aggro is like dual color, right? So really, and Dango's a victim of that too. But it seems like he's always had that issue. Just very hard to play monocolor after you get addicted to dual colors. And that aggro play style.
When zombies were hot, I remember making a Genesis deck using Zombie Shell, and they used that for such a long time that when I went back to mono, I was just like, "What is this? What is this bar that's not screaming at me all the time?"
I get to wait before playing a card.
Victory Jetta is a 7 cost. I wish I was able to pop off with that, but it felt like everybody always had cards with a bunch of stats on them. Couldn't do anything. And then we had banishes, all this stupid crap. I hate it.
I know, Schmo, that's fine. I'm just saying, you have the aggro brain. You want to play dual colors and you want to play fast. So, yeah.
Well, there's two options for mono right now that are very good. That's black and red. That's it. Otherwise, you're gonna be pulling your hair out.
Listen.
Sure.
It's true. I don't know, man. Some guy whooped my ass with mono purple. He was like, "I'm gonna put Dante down, and I'm gonna."
If you're playing one game, you're gonna win a couple here and there with mono and all that. If you're climbing on the ladder constantly, you're not gonna want to play mono green or mono purple.
I'm just kidding. I'm just pissed off because that guy was just like, "Put Dante in air, alt. All right, Tenkuha, I win."
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. We got Iowa with the Prime sub.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Using that
go,
Prime.
dude. 6 months. You get to get the new. Got the Cup of Wishes. Excellent. Paired against the Metsu deck that kept bringing back Dread King over and over again. Those decks, I don't even know, man. Requires a very specific hand, and to not draw target card immediately.
Oh, that card had like 4 different targets in the deck. It's like FDR, Rathalos.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you pull it, it's just -1 hand size. It's pretty
We're only
bad.
playing one card at a time, anyways.
I'll be happy when Rebirth is gone. Yup. Cap of Wishes. I mean, kind of, yeah. It's kind of like that. Let's see.
Yeah, I just
You
hope
guys-
that they realize that too many destroys in black is not healthy.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
crazy.
It's interesting because in a lot of Black's worst matchups, they need those destroys to even have a chance.
Some. I feel like some are necessary.
Yeah. So
And they don't need 3 board wipes.
Yeah. I mean, I saw. What was it? It was with Ryan, not against you, but it was against Ryan. There was a Dark Destruction player that threw out Geodolt and then tried to use Living Death afterwards, and it actually bit them in the ass because it brought back Ryan's like Shanko and Dante and like all this other stuff that he destroyed earlier. And it's like, sometimes that's not a good thing. But
what is the
early game
ratio
Living Death is
of
very
sometimes
ridiculous.
bad and sometimes
Yeah.
good?
Early game Living Death is ridiculous, sure. Late game, it's like kind of rolling the dice a little bit. But yeah, the other ones, it's a bit frustrating, especially when you're playing into it because you don't have much of a choice.
I don't have any of those decks in my book here. All I have is Dive Bomb, Nurg. Wesker using a Nurg deck.
You guys are gonna be sorry when Rebirth 2 comes out.
Yeah, they're just like, it costs a little bit more, but it's the same effect. Now you can't negate it.
Yep.
God, if they do that, I'm gonna be upset. I feel like I'm the only player in the world who wants spirits to be viable. I want spirits to be
Nah.
viable. I tried spirits with coral. I
Everyone
tried
forgot about
spirits
spirits.
with dive bomb. It's
You
hmm.
you might see a spirit or two at Worlds. I will say that because he likes playing with dead fish in her demon deck.
Who does?
Spooky.
Ah.
But, like when she first streamed, she was climbing with Raging Demon and talking with Kyle, and yeah, she plays a couple dead fish. But it's specifically not really a spirits deck. like you're not going to see a spirits deck at Worlds, but you might see a couple spirit units here and there. Yeah, I think everyone wishes they did more with the newer tribes, right? Not just spirits.
I want them to do more with tribes that's not humans.
Yeah,
Less humans,
exactly.
please.
What? Need more humans? I mean,
a ton of humans. Of
I
course.
think they were just kind of set in there by the crossover, right? It's like, how do we do Sengoku Basara without including
Yeah, they
that
didn't
many
have much choice.
humans? Well, they could go wacky. They could make like robotic variants of them, like they crossed over into Mega Man X universe. Like that would have been that would have been
Yeah.
insane, dude.
Dual tribe,
that's true
machine and
too,
human.
but there's still like more human tribe support cards being added when they don't need more human tribe support cards being added.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Robo Akuma skin. No, we're fine. Akuma doesn't need a skin because we don't really want to incentivize playing that character.
Or Dogstalkers. Which Dogstalker characters haven't been on a card yet?
John Talbane, dude. Every card he's
Can't
on
think
is
of any.
bad.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
except
feel like they
Beast Cannon.
covered. It feels like they covered the whole cast now, right? Because they did QB. Think of anyone?
Tommy is kind of weird. I understand the need for a tribe that is just limited to a few units. They don't want any synergy. They don't want you to. They're afraid of coral, right? It's something to be very afraid of.
Hmm.
They're like, don't you dare dual color this Orochi and then use coral on it 3 times.
Is that good?
Is that a good idea?
5 cost Orochi.
It wouldn't be too bad for black. It'd be like, okay, well, Alexia.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
just Orochi was a bad idea, so
Hmm.
yeah.
Do you guys think Orochi's going to be a big threat in Worlds?
Yes,
No.
absolutely.
No.
Well, I guess if it's an Ashura,
There's
that
a
could
reason
be
why there's like 9 Ashuras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, the Assuras are black purple.
Are they?
I'm pretty sure they are.
What's still
That's
left?
what
in
I
the
was trying to
black
figure
purple
out.
Arsenal.
I mean, if we're getting into it with all the deck choices, definitely
yeah, we
trying to
wanna-
figure out which one of these are which, and because we don't know what's in these decks, right? So
Yeah, are we jumping in here?
No, I'm willing to bet gift subs that at least one of them is a black purple deck.
But all
at
of
least
them,
one.
do you think they're all black purple?
No, I definitely lose
Yeah.
that.
So
Orochi's still gonna be a pro.
So
I-
the catch is that I mean, we'll have to look at the list, right? Can we start doing this where we're looking at like the total of what was brought
Sure, I have that
over the other?
here.
Because comparing Ashura with Ouroboros is kind of interesting, right?
Got Thirsty's list here.
So, with what's it called? Or no, Orochi. I think that players have played against it enough to know what outs to have for that card. So I'm sure that everybody's ready to beat down Orochi if they see it on the field.
The problem with that card is even though you know the outs, it's still a card that takes way more resources than it costs to put out.
Uh-huh.
It takes way more for your opponent to deal with it. So it's still like
Yeah.
you're not gonna stop running Orochi because people know how to deal with it. You're still gonna run Orochi because they know how to deal with it, and it's still a pain in the ass.
But it's also how you get to Orochi too, because a lot of players they're play against like a black deck, and then they're like, okay, well if they're playing black, then there's a good chance that they might be playing Orochi, and if they do have that happen, what they can control is like maybe not to counter the card itself, but you can also set up to a way where you have the resources to deal with Orochi before it drops, or even like pressure the opponent so much that they can't even play Orochi itself. Because if they play Orochi, they die.
Yeah, I mean that's largely from a purple perspective, right? Like purple doesn't really
Not
care too much
really.
about it. Like,
No.
I mean, green doesn't have too many answers for it, right? So there are certain decks that have to respect it. On the off turn, like red doesn't care because they can just wait, and if the opponent has to play it from hand, then it's like, okay, I just tick it 5 times, then it's no longer an issue. And then black, of course, doesn't care, right? Depending on the situation. But yeah, it's definitely an experience matchup now for everyone here, I think, to
Yes.
understand what they should do. Yeah, so I get both sides. I understand it, but I think if you wanted to make Orochi deadly especially in certain matchups, you could do that if you wanted to, especially for Ashura, because if you make it invulnerable, it's pretty tough to deal with at the time.
I think
Yeah,
no matter
we'll say,
what
I'm
deck
not trying
you
to say
bring-
that I don't think any of the decks are going 100% in on Orochi. Like, it's not those Ashuras that are just like buff Orochi. I don't expect those, but he's still just a card there that, we're talking about having to save up without him and being prepared without him even on the board, and that's how powerful that card is. That's why FDR is so powerful. You have to prepare for him without even knowing if he's there or not.
Yeah.
I
How do you
think
wanna-
that Orochi is going to be anti-chromatic when he drops.
Damn, and most people think that Orochi will be a problem at Worlds.
I think Orochi will win a game or two. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if
think
it'll
he's
win
winning
like
Worlds.
grand finals, but
Yeah, it's not.
I will
Finals,
say how
maybe.
majority of those decks that are running mono black will have Orochi in there, just in general. Period.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Even if it doesn't get to pop off, even if it just soaks damage, it's not that bad still.
yeah, it's a tough prediction to make because it is a very good card. And since there are, as Pygmalion said, 39 black decks, you'll probably see Orochi a couple times. Yeah, 19 Akuma, by the way.
Yeah, looking at the hero breakdown there, it's kind of ridiculous.
Did you
There's-
expect Wesker to be the least popular black hero?
No, I mean,
Yes, actually.
Yes.
Ouroboros
Akuma's way cooler
is still
than
a little
Wesker.
too high roll, so I would assume that these competitors are going for something a bit more consistent.
Well, I thought there was going to be more Uro than Ashura, or Dark Destruction than Spike Launch and Dive Bomb. I was wrong. So, yeah, I didn't really see that coming. Not sure how I feel about it either.
Yeah,
So I felt
Orochi
like
is a
Japan
good
really
distraction.
liked PB. Yeah. But every single Ashura is being brought by Japan. Why is that?
They knew. They knew. Damn
I-
it.
I think by region, the playtest groups were very split and separated. So, you probably had the Asia Pacific working with Asia Pacific, JP working with JP,
Sure.
NA with NA, and then you did have a few people that would intermingle and then share some tech. But I don't believe that even Japan, with how many people are actually attending from Japan, I think way more than half. I do think that they kept some secrets to themselves, even if they were from the same region. Like, for example, this is not a really great example, but you could see that Rana and Hayakeo are the only two people that are bringing Heart Tank decks.
Yep.
That
So
means
that's
they know
probably
something.
something spicy to them. Yeah, that must be from their play group.
And the only two people that brought Phantasm Dance, which is Geisha Morrigan's Darkness Illusion, were Battler and Scarlet, I believe.
Yeah, so that's probably another
They're
play.
right next to each other on the page. Yup. Wouldn't be surprised if they were the same exact lists. And it kind of makes sense since they're next to each other on you know, the rankings, or close enough. They probably imagine that they wouldn't have to play against each other in the first round. Um, so yeah.
Ryuzu and even True Asian are having the same decks too.
They have the same exact hero arts. I can neither confirm or deny if they are the exact same decks, card for card, but I would not be surprised if they are similar.
Yes.
Yeah, that just this kind of shows that there's a little bit of a bubble with the players and who they're practicing with, right? Because the NA players, there's a lot of similarities in their deck hero art choices. JP, there's similarities and such, but JP has a wider pool, so that's more likely to see major differences there between them than any of the other regions.
But I do think there is a regional bias, especially not even just from practicing, but for ladder experience and what you are more comfortable with, what you have performed with in the past. And I mean that it's a common like comparison in even other card games, but NA has been known to be like the aggro region. Like above all else, NA likes playing aggro and dual color decks. But then when you look at Japan, they're more focused on like mono and playing more patient. So you see a lot of like, you know, the Ashura, the Ouroboros, the Temptations, stuff like that, the control heavy decks, while NA just wants to win fast. And, you know, other regions will defer as well. But that's just one thing I noticed where a lot of NA is just like mid-range and aggro. And they didn't think about bringing Ouroboros. They didn't think about bringing Ashura or Temptation. And even though those are really bad matchups for them. And lo and behold, what did JP bring? The bad matchups. So it's kind of interesting how that unfurled, however you want to say it.
Anyone know what the actual global player count?
A lot.
How many people
lot.
are playing the game? Oh.
You can find out by, you know, tanking your points.
Just real quick, just go and lose 150 games.
That doesn't reveal much, though. That only reveals champions at best.
Yeah, but champions is still your active majority. And then you can probably make a educated guess how many people are actually playing in the alphabet ranks.
I mean, I see some people. Yeah, I see some people giant killers all the time. Even in the lesser ranks, but I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it depends on
My
how
point
much
is
effort you're putting into the game.
Yeah, but just alone being able to get a majority out of the way, and then you just kind of like guess the rest. Because you don't have to be exact, you can just guess.
Yeah, but you still be surprised how many players stay in the A rank and just don't make it out of there. I do think because of how small and tight-knit this community becomes, it's kind of easy to forget that like certain people are either just getting in the game or don't make it into champions every month, even though they're still playing from time to time. I mean, even when I posted up about the bug that on the quest board to kind of unblock people from that, one of the comments on it was why are you even posting this? Who isn't even done with the quest board yet? And it's like there's still new players coming in every now and then, so like you shouldn't just assume because you've been sitting at champions and finish everything day one when it comes out that every player is like that.
You know what's kind of funny is I've actually been sharing your Reddit post like a few times now to people that are like, hey, I don't understand why the game is all bugged and stuff. But once I like share that on like Facebook, on Reddit, or even on the Discord, then they're like, oh, okay, I got it now.
Right.
It happens a lot.
I honestly think someone in JP solved a dual color Ashura list. It's hard to believe they'll believe that much Ashura. Uro.
Over Uro. I like the idea of them bringing Ashura Burrows more than Ashura aggro. Just because of, like I said before, Japan's regional bias and play style seems to lean towards more of an Ashura Burrows type deck. That's not to say they can't play aggro, because a lot of them do, and a lot of them are really good with it. To me, it just feels like they would do something that is hard countering, you know, what a lot of players would bring. And lo and behold, some of the more popular decks that the other regions brought were Raging Demon and Dark Destruction. So they were definitely onto something.
Anyone that you guys got your eyes on in terms of their deck choices?
Like favorite lineups, or just
Yeah,
interesting
like
lineups
just
in general.
interesting choices. Yeah.
Earth for sure, right?
Yeah, that's the first thing that it's the first thing listed because he has the highest store points. But it was as soon as we saw it, it was just like, what?
It's great. I like it a lot.
I
how you
like the
stand
heart tank
out.
X's. Everything else I
I-
really don't care much for.
Wow.
Very curious about the hard take access from Rona and Haikea, and then also very interested in those Darkness Illusion decks.
What do you guys think about? Sorry, we're jumping all over the place color wise and deck wise. There's a lot to get into, but I honestly expected there would be a lot of temptation because of the current state of things and how I think it is a very good tournament deck and how it counters a lot of the meta. But people went with Rakoha more than Temptation. Why do you
There's
think that is?
definitely way more Rakoha than I thought there was going to be.
And a couple Inner Demons, right?
Yeah, I
think
think
it's
even
because they have
Hemiot's
not a
running
threat.
that.
I think it's the same type of deck, though. I think they're all X-Hunters lists.
Arikawa and Memiot, I think, are the two fades.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good memory builder for sure. And Fade is kind of big brain when you consider the possibility of them running into Ashura or Ouroboros because of that chance that they draw Maverick, they're able to kill a Tyrant, even if it does get protected from damage, right? You can still kill it randomly. So hopefully Memi finds all those Mavericks and gets the job done.
Monopurple
doesn't
being a
run
good
into
tourney
a
color
very
was the
strong
reason I
Orochi.
chose Denjin. Gross.
Yeah, I like Dango's lineup a lot too, but I think it only works with Dango because I'm gonna censor myself. He's a freaking psychopath. And he has one of the better lineups just because it's so unexpected and you cannot prepare for Dango in a tournament. I did this whole rant on my stream, but Dango is like the only player in this whole list that you cannot prepare for properly because if you do prepare for only Dango, you're going to lose every other matchup.
Yep.
That's the scary part.
Oh, and the thing with people taking Jill, I feel like is this multi-layered thing, right? Those heart tanks, I think Chris was saying on his stream, that's like, heart tank is to account for Jill, which was like kind of a recent discovery when, everyone was deciding their decks. I think like not even 2 weeks before, they had to submit decks, it was just like, oh, someone hit 2200 with Jill. It's just like, that was enough for people to be like, hey, it's kind of a big deal. So you could see the people that bought into it, like, hey, I'm definitely going to do this. And then the people that are like, I'm going to be ready for those people.
Are we getting into Jill now? The Jill choice? She's the most popular choice. 11 people brought Jill.
Yeah, we could... Back to this list here.
Well, she's the most popular single hero art.
Yep.
She's not the most popular choice. That would be Akuma and
Yeah.
Eric beat her out.
Yeah, Kuma is the most popular hero easily with 2 decks, but Antibody was the most picked hero art. But how do you guys feel about Jill in a tournament setting? Do you think that was wise for those people to bring Jill?
I don't think it's as unwise as you were mentioning on your stream, just because
Yeah.
current Jill is not as susceptible to bricking as she used to be.
Right.
And has a lot of control and has probably a lot less pain dealing with the bad matchups compared to some of the other options dealing with their bad matchups.
I think it's a good ladder deck because it has a lot of flexibility. It's kind of like a nice hybrid deck. It's well-rounded, so it's kind of ready for a lot of different crazy stuff on the ladder. So maybe they're trying to relate that to the current meta overall, where a lot of stuff is viable. So let's take a hero art that can be kind of good across the board. It's a nice flex choice.
I also
don't think Jill
trust
beats
the
Mono Black.
majority. I trust a majority of these players to not just see Jill get to the top once and be like, "That's what we're bringing." I think they would have done
Right.
a
Yeah.
good amount of research into it and practice.
Right. They definitely play the deck before picking it, of course.
I never put it in my life.
I do think it's a big mistake though, because you can only do so much on the ladder against random giant killers, and then say to yourself, "Yeah, this is solid," and then you have to play against someone that actually knows what they're doing, and it's like, "Oh, this is a really bad matchup." And I do feel like Jill does not beat Mono Black at all. Like she does get some crazy rolls against Black sometimes, but like this is the topic that we have to get into, right? Like what makes a good ladder deck and also makes a good tournament deck, because they're very exclusive things, right? Like they're always not the same situation, because I don't even think Raging Demon is a great tournament deck at the end of the day, just because it's very easy to single those decks out, play the counter, and then outplay your opponent. Because again, this isn't a tournament with random giant killers. This isn't a ladder experience. These are people that have been to the top of the ladder. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think they just picked Jill because of ladder experience. I imagine, and I
Yeah.
would imagine the reason why there's so much similarity was there was a lot of practice between these players, and I wouldn't say that they just saw her doing well on the ladder and just decided to go Jill. There's a reason why there's not a lot of GDI here, is because that is very much a much stronger ladder deck that could falter a little bit in a tournament setting. I do think where Ami Growth struggles a lot more in terms of tournament settings, that Jill lists, and we don't know what their Jill list looking like, but they can do a much better in the setup.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if people made big changes to Virus's version, or if, because I think a version I was trying out for a little bit had a couple Calamitous in it, and I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I
Stuff like
definitely
that
expect
you
to
could
see
throw
some
into
Calamitous Jills.
And
Yeah.
the Denjin, dude, just Denjin Jill combo, being able to protect your units.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
I would have liked to have seen more Denjin if people are going to lean in that direction. I don't think many of them have experience. Because Denjin was only good for a short while. I don't think any of them stuck with Denjin after the nerfs. So hard to believe that Denjin was on anyone's mind, but I do think Denjin is actually a really strong tournament deck, especially with all the black that was brought. Yeah, but like Dango's saying, like DD should have been brought more than RD because of the situation, but that's from an NA perspective. Like if you're doing an all NA tournament, then yeah, DD is a very good choice because NA likes to play aggro, they like to play dual colors, DD's awesome. But when you're looking at all these Ashuras, all these Ouroboros, all these Temptations, you cannot bring Dark Destruction. If you're bringing Dark Destruction, you need to find other decks that handle those really bad matchups, or else you're out of the tournament. So Demon can at least fight those matchups better than DD.
Now, when
So I
it
look
comes
at
to
it.
the difference between a ladder deck and a tourney deck, I kind of have a decent idea on it, but I'm also still pretty green when it comes to tourney play. So I hope you guys don't mind me getting a little quiet for that, because I'm just kind of trying to
No, that's
wrap my
fine.
head around it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you have any questions about it?
Not that I can really think of that are at least too accurately, because like the questions I have are just too vague to really be feasible. Like, you know.
I mean, you remember the virus blog post, right, about ranked versus tournament?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. Your, ladder is sort of just being ready for everything at any time, but tourney is sort of being specifically ready for what people understand to be the best. So there's definitely a difference between those two mindsets.
Yeah. like you said, stuff like more explosive decks that are inconsistent, like Ouroboros, can perform much better in tournament compared to the latter, where you're, you know, you don't know what you're running into or who you're running against, right? And you might win games, but it's not going to be consistent. So win rate matters a lot more on ladder than it does in tournament. That's not to say you should bring Gaia armor to every tournament, but even Gaia armor can win some tournament matchups, right? Just because of the situations, like the matchups itself. Like if you know it performs really well against certain decks and you know people are going to bring those decks, then why not bring it? That's why you're seeing a lot of mono purple, because people expected black. You're seeing a lot of black because people expected red and green. But Earth, you know, being the genius that he is, brought double green and one black. And I wouldn't be surprised if he rides those two green decks the whole way, because, you know, he wouldn't bring two green decks if he thought they were bad against black. He definitely has a plan in mind. So he's going to be ready for even those bad matchups like Temptation, Ashura, etc.
Yeah, I wonder if
But I
it's
think
gonna
they work.
be like he did in that one tournament we had, which was just a bunch of 5 costs, bunch of
Yeah.
stuff you can't fake.
Oh, I guarantee you there's going to be very few 4 costs and under in his Hey Nico deck.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of actions for sure.
Action
I think-
boys.
I think the most popular Nico decks are memory based, and they definitely use cycle those Nico actions back, along with A-Trans to copy those Nico actions. And I think if a Nico deck cycles after that point, it's the same case with Yawn. Like if they're able to use cycle and the game's still going, they might have just won. Even getting cards like Cammy and Doll's memories back for a second time is huge.
Yeah, as long as they have like a decent health, like they don't even need the lead. As long as they're semi-healthy, if cycle activates mid-game, they're really in a good spot.
It's really important. Yeah, the decks can be really annoying. I think everyone's had that experience against like a memory Nico deck by now, where it just takes forever. It's really agitating. You keep getting halted. It's like this is never going to end, is it?
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I don't like about it.
ragtime.
It's a time
Alright.
waster deck. I hate it.
But like you noticed a lot of people brought Spike Launch Rakoha. What do? They do 12 split damage. A lot of people brought Temptation. What do they do? What does it do? Halts the whole board for a million seconds, right? I can't remember the right number right now. What does Hey Nico do? It does both, right? Like the fact that Nico can do both Spike Launch and Temptation in the same art is pretty scary, right?
If only you could choose.
Yeah, I mean, Tomboy
only you
exists,
could
but
choose,
no one
not
ever gets
Tomboy.
Tomboy, right? No one ever gets that. But that's the mind game. Like, I think another level to why Earth brought it was to actually make the opponent have to think and prepare and put fear in them. Like when you pull something with Nico, you know what you got, but your opponent doesn't know what you got.
And when you
and that can add
A-Trans it,
to a
you
whole
really
other
know
level.
what it is.
Right? Like it can add to a whole nother level of like, well, I could play a unit now, but what if they have Gerbera? Like, what if I can't play this out? Because what if they have Ragtime? I want to wait for them to play it out. You know, I can kill this unit, but he might tomboy the other unit that I'm not destroying. Like it adds to a whole extra mind game, which is really cool. And I feel like he's banking on that as another level of, you know, just the meta game itself when you're in a match against Hey Nico, and you have to respect it. It's really cool.
Using RNG against them.
Like Fade kind of works the same way, but it's a 50-50, right? So
Unitless Dungeon, that would have been fun.
What happened to
And
the
I-
Christie that hated the random generated hero art?
no, and I was just gonna say I do hate those decks for ranked, but in a tournament, I actually thought about it when I saw these tournament picks, and I was like, you know what? I hate these arts. I think they're terrible, but in a tournament setting, that RNG is everything, right? And that's all you need. You just need a little bit of RNG just to win that one game, and you're good.
And yet he always talks trash about me bringing Fade to tournaments.
He's like, wow.
Yeah, no, I actually I do like Fade as an art choice for tournament. The more I thought
got
about
him,
it, and I apologize, but I don't like
We got
climbing with it.
No, don't climb up
and I
gate. It's
did,
awful.
and you did convince me that Unilist Engine is also an amazing tournament deck. So I'm disappointed that not many people considered it. But I do think that's a very good deck as well for tournament. Like the unexpected will always have that slight advantage in my mind. That's basically where I'm getting at, which is why Dango is like so favored in my mind, because he's just like the scary dark horse that brought the weird decks. Yeah, just the unknown. It's the same case as with ladder, right? You run to an A5 that's playing like charge shot. Like you might have an idea of what he's playing, but you won't know until they play it. Even a deck like Yawn, only 2 people brought Yawn, but one of them was Earth, and he's a really good Yawn player. You have to respect it, right? And you don't know exactly what he's going to do with it until he does it.
Dude,
Really,
the
really cool
yawns.
choices.
So, who brought the yawns? Who got the yawns?
Earth and Max005, who was first in APAC. Pretty smart choices, I think. I like Yawn a lot in a tournament. Kyle almost brought Yawn, but he brought Jill instead, and I hate him for it. But we're not going to get into that right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
Spoilers. I told him 100%. You should bring Yawn. This is a good deck, and you can play well with it. You've proven that, and it's going to do really well in tournament. He brings Jill. Whatever, man.
Depth JP
I'm over
players
it.
Ritter for
I'm over it.
Dongo.
JP knows who Dango is. They've even changed their names to like Dango Fan and stuff like that in the past. So they definitely know him at this point. But I don't know if they're prepared for him is the thing. That's a completely different thing altogether. So Rocket Man's smart.
They're
so.
provoking him. That's what it's all about. Just kidding, no.
Yeah.
You know my list. I did not really hide them. They're likely practicing versus them because I don't think practicing versus them is the same as practicing versus me playing them, dude. That's why you give them the mix.
Still feel like there's an unknown element there that gives you an advantage, even if they know like what decks you're using.
See, if I got in, I'd be like,
If that makes sense.
Coral, change form, antibody.
I will
Ultimate
say,
Weapon, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I expect a majority of the Jill players to pick Jill second in their match and probably go with their first pick that they know can close a win out for sure, and then just kind of ride on the RNG of Jill twice.
Yeah. That's one way of looking at it. I feel like a lot of matchups, the Jill players can't use Jill, or else they'll lose. But if they are good enough with Jill, they could pull through. I'm not saying it's like nothing's guaranteed, right? This is TEPPEN. So yeah, there's definitely gonna be some RNG.
They might high roll Carlos.
Yeah. But you might get Living Death in a matchup against Oro and Ashura, right? So you can't win those.
You might see those 3 false thrones and a living death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love how Rana brought both of them. I think he was the only one that did it. I think everyone else just did one or the other. But I think Rana brought both Uro and Ashura next to Heart Tank. It's like one of the weirdest lineups, but I like it a lot because I think it covers any issues he might run into. And I feel like he doesn't have a bad matchup until he theoretically runs into Earth.
Dude, Rana got that nasty ass look in his his picture
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's just like
without glasses, I never considered like what he would look like, but yeah,
don't mess with me, dude.
pretty scary.
I'll hard tank the shit out of you.
Wait till I bust this shit out, dude.
Take this heart.
What's going on, Kuma? Kuma wants to
Yeah,
know
we'll
about
have
the
to
heart
see.
tank.
Because I'm very curious about that, because I really would argue that Shield Spire is more consistent for the bad matchups that's there to back up, but they definitely can know something I don't.
It's actually Giller B, that's what it is. Heart tank.
I did
think
say if it's Killer B, I'll do 10 more stars.
Holy shit, dude.
Do you think it's mono green?
I don't want to think it's mono green. I don't think it is, but it could be.
Red green
It should be.
humans.
I think red green humans might be the sauce there. I don't know. I think the we're seeing some good numbers out of players with red green Shield Spire, so I think it might be kind of a similar idea, but without the like shortcomings of Shield Spire, is to kind of play it safe with just full HP, even though there are many situations where hard tank is inferior.
Right.
It's
like there's
just
some
that
spires.
AP cost. That's my problem with it.
Yeah. What if they're using the art charge cards? No.
Yeah, do the green herb.
Those
Yes.
sick art charge cards in green.
Yep.
I can't get over what do you call it in the first like couple weeks running into somebody playing Envoy with every single AP charge card. It's like, but you can't. It doesn't. No, don't. No.
Mhm. Yeah, it doesn't really work that way.
Every single AP charge card is like, yo man, where's precision? Where's my?
But the
That's
EXGP
when
is
you
going to have
just-
like a built-in charge, which is fun. So
That's when you just use one natural cycle. Like, see, I gave my entire deck +1 attack. It's not that hard.
oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see hope for the future
Oh
being run in
man.
any of these decks, but you never know.
I'm alive.
Yeah, I
They
really-
never play their X decks.
Yeah, I like Rana's list a lot, but I feel like it's only there to scare the Jill players into picking something else, so he can just go double black every time.
And that's why he's got the mugshot there.
Um,
He's just like.
Yeah, I do think Uro and Ashura is like one of the stronger things you can do tournament wise. It really only struggles against Temptation players, right?
Which I will
Last
say is a
card.
scary thing because X does not deal so well with Temptation.
Yeah, like that's probably the weakest matchup for the lineup in general. So he does have to respect that.
Oh right, dude. The 10 Kuha. We got a singular
Yeah,
10
you wanna look at-
Kuha.
Last Guardians list.
Yeah, I got it up on screen right now.
All I'm gonna say is, if he brings Tenkoha, plays it, and the very first card he plays is False Throne, I don't care about the rest of what you think. I'm gonna get hype. I love it. I love that RNG, man.
He's
give
been
it to me.
practicing it all year. Hmm.
He's found the formula to make sure he always opens with False Throne and Rebirth.
And he's so confident. That's what his temptation list is too.
And that Jill is actually red black as well.
Red, black, purple.
Tricolor.
Tricolor, dude.
Tricolor V.
Oh no.
True Asian considered V? No way. Come on.
How delightfully consistent. I mean, it'd be
I
funny
mean-
to have a player use a deck combo just to make a point at Worlds. Be like, look how toxic this is.
Well, yeah, and it comes back to the idea of that, like the less consistent decks that are more explosive and faster sometimes will perform better in tournament just because there's less of a sample size. There's, it all depends on RNG. I don't think you should bring Nightmare Tenkoha decks though. I don't know. You might get a win with it
Maybe.
once.
Yeah, I like how looking at
It's tough
Dongo's
to say
decks,
though,
it's
right?
like it just stands out from everybody else.
Yeah, I think it's great that it's just very off, it's quote unquote off meta, but at the same time it's anti meta to a point where you have to respect it.
And his picture looks just as surprised as everybody else does.
Yeah.
It's got Amy
that-
on the right, mad that they didn't bring him.
And oh, that's actually co-op. I'm afraid you're not allowed to do
Uh-huh.
that. No coaching.
Iowa, what are your favorite lineups?
Honestly, don't have one besides the ones that have heart tank in them.
Okay.
Heart tank to
So
do
you like-
well.
You like Hayakios as well then?
The reason why I don't really gravitate towards a specific lineup is because I think at the end of the day, it's going to be what the decisions that these players make, more or less than like matchups and shit like that.
Mm.
Because, TEPPEN is a game that's like pretty random. So you could have a repeat of last year Worlds, like it didn't really matter what Water brought, he just got bricked. Right? And then
Yeah,
you had to give that free game.
that's true.
So I think at the end of the day, all these players, when they picked their decks, they really picked what they thought they were comfortable with, and then what they thought they could like kind of be solid against their peers and other players in the format. So I don't really look at it as more of a matchup type of thing. I look at it more of as, you know, did you draw the right cards? Did you play solid? Okay, cool. So looking at the deck lists themselves, I'm not specifically gravitating towards anyone specifically because of their lineup, but I am gravitating towards players that can play consistently, which would be Earth. Earth is probably the most consistent player.
Have you ever competed in a tournament in Iowa? But like, this isn't just me like throwing shade. I'm actually curious because I can't remember if you did. Did you enter the Discord tournament that year, like a year ago, or?
The one where Zero Short Yukon did it.
Yeah, were you in that? I can't remember. I think you were, right?
I was, yeah.
Okay. So you have some tournament experience. You should enter more tournaments.
You can't enter them unless, you know,
I know.
because I organize them.
But the ones that like Thirsty runs every now and then, and I think, you know, Mallet or myself ever throw tournaments, you should consider entering.
All right, Iowa. When I set up this next one, I'm going to ask you specifically when you're available.
Sure.
And playing against that, so you have to compete. Wait, no. 65, 35. So I think lineups are 65% of the tournament. 35% is the actual play. I don't know, man.
I think it comes down to like 40% lineups, 40% player skill, 20% luck. I do think player skill is a very good big deciding factor. It could be split more, maybe 50% player skill, because even the best players like Earth can play through the bad matchups for sure. And then there are a lot of first round matchups that I do think one player is much better than the other, so it's not going to matter what decks they bring. So I do think that's the biggest factor, but luck is definitely thrown in there as well, but that has to be considered.
Percentage
I
concentration.
think the luck effect is I do think luck is a little bit smaller versus luck on ladder, which I think, what was Virus's assessment, like 30% luck
Oh yeah, it was like 70-30.
for ladder, and I think for tournament it's a little bit smaller just because better players will veer. But it is a high level tournament, right? So it's probably not as much of a deciding factor, but luck will be there, right?
Yep, I hope they made sure their decks can't break.
Yeah, just give them a free reroll.
I do think the
What?
decks that are most likely to brick are actually black. I guess potentially green.
I will say it is a lot harder to brick now in TEPPEN than it was a year ago.
Oh yeah.
So I am kind of confused, Chris, because it's starting to bug me. But when you asked me about my my tournament experience,
Yeah.
you know, after I told you about like what my thoughts were about tournament play, and then you said it was like no shade. I'm starting to think like it was kind of like shade because it
No.
completely distracted from what I was saying, and it kind of like went on its own tangent. Because while I can't say that I'm
apologize.
a incredible tournament player, I can at least say that I've played card games for ever since I was like 7, and I've been playing in tournaments since I was like 13, and I'm
Yeah.
25 now. So that's like 12 years of me just playing card games and being familiar with how RNG goes into tabletops. So that alone, and
Yeah, that's true.
also tournament play, that's like how I perceive the game. That's where I'm coming from. So when you
Mhm.
said like, you know, Iowa, how much tournament experience have you had in response to what I was saying?
Yeah.
It does kind of feel like shade.
I forgot that like you you literally just entered a Digimon tournament, and I completely forgot about that. So yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry about that. But like, yeah, speaking specifically with like TEPPEN, I mean, you were just saying like it doesn't really matter what the players brought, when I do think it does matter. And I feel like if you had entered more TEPPEN tournaments, you would have, had a better understanding of that. But at the same time, you have been watching the tournaments, commentating on the tournaments, and have a bit of an outsider perspective, and obviously have been involved in tournaments, which again, I kind of overlooked that. So yeah, I do apologize, man. I didn't mean to like completely dump on your opinion or anything like that.
It's fine.
It's just a bit different from my perspective, and like actually competing in TEPPEN tournaments, and understanding the concept of bringing a good lineup.
Right. Like, and I'm not trying to, take away from your perspective either. It's just,
Yeah.
for me, I guess I would say that I kind of play the devil advocate, because
Mhm.
while I do think that matchup is matters, I do think that part of what creates an upset, because in tournaments there are going to be upsets where somebody will lose. It's not only going to be matchup, but it could also lean towards like luck, and it can also be leaning towards like game breaking plays. Like, you can
Absolutely.
completely outplay somebody in a bad matchup.
Mhm.
So there's just so many factors out there. Matchup is just
Yeah.
one of them in the grand scheme of the spectrum.
Right. But outside of that, I honestly wish you would enter more tournaments for TEPPEN, because I do want to see you play more.
Yeah, I'll definitely play some if schedules line up. It just
'Cause
haven't been able
I like
to.
watching you play today. Yeah. I mean, you just got champion today, right? So you clearly have been busy. It was nice to see it, and I wish you would compete more, because you're very good. And I'm just mostly curious to see what kind of lineup you would bring. That's mostly what I'm getting at now.
Yo,
If it was now,
every
I'd definitely bring zero attack.
Yeah.
zero attack. Oh my god.
I will say though, like right now for this discussion, lineup is kind of really all we have to go off of. I mean, some of us have seen a lot of these players, but a lot of us haven't seen a lot of these players play. So really, our only speculation is lineup, and also we're going based off of the speculation with just the hero arts, right? Like, we still don't know what's in these decks. We don't even know which ones are mono, which ones are dual color, and such. So it's
Right.
kind of hard to discuss, but it's all we got to go by to discuss.
Yeah,
it right
I
now.
wish we at least had the color splash. If we knew what colors they were, it'd be sick. Also, I'd like to mention that every NA player except for Dongo brought Raging Demon.
Yep. It's that regional bias where,
Huge.
for us, that's the more dominant deck that we worry about.
Is that 5 out of 6? Or is that 4 out of 5? It's 4 out of 5.
How many players?
So we got
5
three regional.
Yeah. 2 tour points.
Kyle and Ryuzu.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Does anyone in NA bring Heart Tank? No. There's only 2. Hell no.
No.
They're too busy bringing Raging Demon. That deck that I hate.
Yeah, and there's 3 Devil Breakers, right? So there's that aggro, bias as well. And it's not to say like these guys aren't capable of playing Temptation or Ouroboros. It's just what we're more comfortable with, right? It's pretty rare to see those decks in an all like North American tournament, right? But if you go to a Japan tournament, it's probably going to be a lot more popular to see the Assures, the Temptations, and all that. So I think for different tournaments, especially region-wise, like if this was an all NA tournament, the decks would be a lot more different. But this is every region, right? This is the world, so that's where you see the variety and the regional bias. Why I keep calling it.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see how many people took Ashura instead of Raging Demon. But I could see why.
I'd be curious if there wasn't the hero lock condition, if anyone would have brought Ashura and Raging Demon.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident that people would do that if they could.
I agree with that. But I think part of the affecting element is because of how the nerf affected Raging Demon's late game, because you don't have Ed Jewel anymore as a late game option.
It was way too strong.
Oh yeah.
They needed to calm down. Any other comments about the decks that we're seeing from players here?
I really want my hands on that Heart Tank X deck list.
Yeah.
I like
feel
how
whatever.
even Advanced Miracle X didn't bring X. It's like, man.
Yeah. He didn't bring X or Zero. Some fan he is. And I thought he was actually going to be the only X player. Like, I knew X would show up at Worlds, just with a certain player that didn't bring him. I did expect Dante to not show up there, because there was only going to be one player that brought Dante if they were going to bring him, and it was Dango. But I had a feeling Dango wasn't going to bring him, so yeah, rip Dante.
Dude, Kuma
that
says
was
he
the only hero
hates
that didn't make
Sengoku
it, right?
Basara, but he still plays KG, dude. Come on.
Well, he was at Worlds last year, so at this point now we have had all heroes in Worlds. At least
I guess so,
once.
yeah. But not every art. You're still
No.
missing out on a couple arts.
Still missing
Yep,
change
just saying.
form, damn it.
Waiting on Ultimate Weapon, Gaia Armor, Charge Shot.
So, besides Dante, who had the biggest drop off, hero wise?
Compared to
From
last
last year to
this
year,
year.
ooh.
Morgan
All the
easily.
heroes that weren't around last year.
I don't think it was Morrigan. There's still some good temptation and even some DI here. I think Morrigan's pretty well represented. I'm thinking Ryu.
Oh, Ryu would be, yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Ryu
I'm-
almost non-existent. Pretty sad.
Really
One.
surprised by that.
One Ryu and it's Denjin and it's Dango. Very sad about that the other day.
Me too. I kind of wish there was more Ryu, especially since there's Heart Tank X. Because isn't that just kind of how funny it is? Where we always thought, and even now we probably think that Shinku Hadoken is a way better hero art than Heart Tank X. But you have
Yes, it is.
two people bringing Heart Tank X and not a single Ryu Shinku Hadoken. To me, that is just mind blowing.
They
If-
probably only brought it because they're like, there's not going to be reuse. We can do this now.
Yeah.
Now's our
If-
time.
And if Charge Shot wasn't nerfed, I think we might have saw even more X.
I don't think Charge Shot would have been there. I don't think Charge.
Maybe. I mean, it's a whole what if scenario, but I feel like if Charge Shot was still decent.
God, if they didn't nerf those cards in Charge Shot.
Too easy to counter. Even
Yeah.
at its prime. Right? Like, especially with all these black decks here, that Charge Shot would never get played.
As long as you stay away from black, good, dude.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, that's,
purple with
you know-
demonic.
Man.
Right. I
Just
don't know,
green
do you-
purple.
Do you even see Demonic that much anymore?
You
Against
would if there
purple?
was Charge Shot.
Yeah, I guess so.
That was the thing. Like, we've seen Charge Shot win tournaments back then, but those were rule sets where you can ride the single deck the whole way through. And I think that would have changed if it was in Worlds format. I don't think Charge Shot would have been a good Worlds format deck.
Sorry if I
Let's see
missed you
face
guys
Charge Shot.
answering this previously, but is the heavy black lean on decks as
God.
potentially frustrating as purple was last year?
Maybe black lean on decks. Frustrating is purple. I mean, black is more or less the new purple, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much how it is.
I
Trying
think
to
they're
think
both
if it's
equally
models.
frustrating for the same reason, which is their control is just too dominating. Their control over units and the board is just too dominating as it was last year.
I don't know if black doesn't have a direct counter Skyridge.
If there were more cards to evade destroys, I would say they have a counter, but they. Or if there were
Right.
cheaper ways to replace those units.
I personally don't think black has a direct counter. I think if they draw too well, you're just kind of screwed in terms of like, unless they play really bad. Even their best counter, temptation, it's really likely to, if they draw the heavy destroys, you're just kind of 100% screwed. And I know that exists with every deck of if they draw perfectly, but it's a little more consistent with black.
Black counters trump card with the 6 unit on hand.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's demon, right? So you got to respect that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if black was unstoppable, then it would have been 3 black decks, right? Wesker, Akuma, Nurg across the board.
Well, I mean,
and I mean, even Earth brought black, right? So, there's a reason.
I mean, counter is just when it's just completely unfavorable, but I would say they have the strongest spread of like, well, it's even, something it's not like really at a disadvantage against many decks.
Right.
Counter would be like, I'm tired of running into this. I'm gonna take this into the ladder because I'm just tired of this bullshit. And it's like, I don't really have a deck for that. Whenever I build a deck, whenever I get mad at like all destroys Wesker, I don't really have anything that I can like set up. I mean, the only thing I can do is just like take something that has all like 5 and 6 costs, and that'll show him. But it's like, I'll lose to everybody else.
I mean, I would also argue that point, Chris, what you're trying to make is like you would bring all 3 black if it was unbeatable, but there's a reason why most people brought 2, because you're only bringing in 2 per round, right? You're not bringing in all 3 decks.
Yes.
So
Unless,
there
right?
are people essentially doing that. You might as well bring
There's some
something
double black,
else.
yeah. There's some double black in there for sure, like Spike Launch Ashura, I think, in some cases, or Demon Destruction for a couple guys, which I'm not crazy about any lineup that does both DD and Demon. I feel like it accomplishes the same thing, loses the same matchup. But it's definitely a decent lineup, right? It would be more of a better lineup for like an NA tournament where there's a lot more dual color, right? But yeah, I get what you're saying, and I mean the best counter to black is black. We've said that before.
That's how purple
so it would
was
be pretty
before?
awkward, right? So I mean, if a lot of these matchups do come down to like Ashura mirrors, it's going to be very random, right? Like you can't predict what's going to happen at that point. Like who cares who the better player is? You got to draw better.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what purple felt like last year, especially in Worlds with the Temptation decks.
Yeah, purple mirrors are kind of interesting though, especially with the different arts. Definitely have to be careful at some points. And the big fear was like brainwash before they had other ways to deal with it. But I don't know. Do you think we're going to see a lot of brainwash in these mono purple decks?
Probably not, just because the Raging Demons and just every black deck has
There's a
like
lot of ways to
6
dodge it, right?
predations. They're just like, all right, that's really where they get you is the
Yeah.
multiple predations.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was looking at temptation list that Ryan was playing earlier, and then I was looking at some other meta temptation lists, and I noticed a lot of them don't have brainwash anymore, which seemed to be like one of the most popular cards last year for obvious reasons.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah, but now there's been even more answers to it over time, so I don't know. It doesn't seem like that big of an issue anymore.
It's pretty bad for red, but
I've always hated brainwash.
Right.
you could brainwash a
Brainwash
4
not put in
cost
my
and still
decks.
gain value.
Yeah, back when
Brainwash
Surge
isn't-
with meta.
Yeah, but with brainwash now, there's enough outs in every color. It's difficult to find the unit you're gonna steal and win the game with now. So it's just not reliable enough. And you're generally, if you're playing Temptation Morgan anyways, or Zero Exodia, you don't want to take one of their units and put it on your side. You want to keep their unit there where you can control it.
Rakoha versus Temptation, who wins?
I was ready for
In
this
my
quiz.
opinion, it's the Rakoha.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think Rakoha as well.
And I think that's why a lot more Rakohas are in the lineup over Temptation. I understand why Temptation's there as well, because I think it does better against black, especially Shura, compared to Rakoha, because what's a 12 damage split versus something that can't take damage? 0. So it's kind of interesting to see how purple was chosen.
Yeah,
I will say
everyone's
one
complaining
interesting thing
about
will be
purple,
that-
but here we are.
I do think Temptation's better at cycling cards. Well,
Mhm.
no, still the halt, but it's a rough one. That's
Temptation can stall better. Rukoha just hopes they can clear enough damage, right? So they work in their own ways, but they both have a similar goal when it comes down to it. Although I don't know if Temptation's going to play X Hunters, right?
DI, dude. I can't wait to see what those DI lists are like.
The Phantasm Dance. We're going to
The-
see Geisha Morgan in Worlds.
In a mirror. Just kidding, no.
Be cool. No,
Cool.
no Shadowblade though, sadly.
Yeah, strangely enough.
Why pick a
I mean,
single target to do damage to when you can just damage them all?
Yeah,
I hope
mean, the
black
bla-
gets
the
nerfed
black
as hard as
nerf-
purple did after Worlds.
They're
Maybe.
taking out Day of Nightmares. There's your
Pick-
black nerf.
They can still run every single destroy in the game. Just kidding. Which destroys
I
are
think-
Day of
Doesn't mean
Nightmares?
much.
I think Fate's going to be left alone, and I do think Cruel Game is going to exist still. Or it might cost more, but I think it'll still be there. Sorry.
Destroy.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends if we get a patch next year, like right at the start of the new year. Hi Kyle, bye Kyle. But yeah, at the very least, you will get a nerf in the form of, you know, Super Tyrants and Rebirth going away.
Wait, it's all default
And
for
Living
the
Death.
event? No skins? Oh.
But they're
Oh,
letting
no skins? Then why?
the Morgan hero.
Why do they
archer
show
up there.
Phantasm then?
That's a really good question.
The whole
But-
reason why I thought they were showing it, right?
That does make sense because I do remember like you can't play secrets.
Oh, yeah.
All the
Yes, they
all the
translated
temptations are
image wrong.
default, right? All the temptations are
Translated the
default.
image wrong. Damn.
No skins, no secrets. That's kind of disappointing. I wanted to see Geisha Morgan, but yeah,
That's for editing to
It is.
fix, dude.
it is
What
it
if
is.
like it's using the Geisha Morgan for the website because they lost the original image of DI because it never gets used?
That makes
Well,
sense.
Well, I feel like for the what was it? For the live in-person events, they were giving them accounts that were brand new, right? Like they were just like different accounts, not their real ones.
yeah,
Although
yeah.
it would be different this time, right? They would be playing on their own profiles.
Remember where they were
That's interesting.
they were all F5? It was like, man, these guys suck.
Yeah, you remember that, right? It was all F5, so they would only have like the base cards. They wouldn't have drawn any secrets, right? Or skins. So it makes sense from that perspective. But I'm guessing they didn't all get brand new accounts with those decks for this event.
Here are all the destroy cards leaving in Day of Nightmares, by the way. Look at all these destroys leaving.
Yep.
Still gonna be a problem. Wee.
Yeah, that's why I say I think Fate is still gonna stick around, and I don't know if they're gonna do anything about it.
I don't know how they're gonna get around you know, destroys being so prevalent and so mana positive.
All right, serious question though. Iowa,
Hmm.
if you made it to Worlds and you got that new account, would you wail on it to get some skins and just show up? When you
30 minutes before you go onto the stage, you're just like, hold on.
I would if it was allowed. Yeah, it'd be a
Doing
pretty
some
cool
back
flex
pulls.
move. Yeah, I just like to what is it? Do things people don't think you would do. I guess.
How many problem cards are there in Day of Nightmares that we can live without? Is the Monk X question. I mean, we already went over this in like a episode a couple
Live
of weeks
without.
ago, but I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
went
were-
over
we went
everything.
Living Death and Tyrant.
Yeah.
I'm super sad we're getting rid of Sliding Worm. I fucking love this guy. He's my dive bomb buddy. That sucks. Like when he transforms, he's pretty much permanently dive bombed. 4-8, dude. Who else are we losing? Losing Nemesis, dude. Card is solid.
I just love how, like, with the worm thing, it's like you're going so out of your way to make a Sigma.
Shut up, it's got a victory on it.
Worm.
After it wins in that lane and then it wins again, you're just unstoppable, dude.
Yeah. But you know, we've already gone over that. Just going back to the lineups and everything. I'm curious, what would you guys bring to a Worlds tournament? Since I guess the theoretical question kind of came up. If you made it to Worlds, what would you bring?
I would bring I'd probably succumb and do the red-green Shield Spire, not the black-green I've been playing. Take Antibody because it's all I know, and then some form of Dive Bomb. Look at that spread.
I would 100% would have brought Unilis Stengen. Then it would have been a long decision between red-green growth or purple-green growth. Either Fade or Shield Spire. And the third is I don't know the third. Probably would have been a mono black deck, to be honest.
Killer B.
X.
Let's go.
Would not have been Giller B.
Gaia
Not in
Armor
this go.
Orochi.
Not in this damage splash economy.
Fire Armor Orochi, yeah. There you go. Iowa.
I would do Ashura. I would do Zero Attack, and I would do Mono Red Ami, the growth version.
Yeah.
I would bring
Disgusting.
those 3 decks.
Yeah, and for me, I would probably go with what I'm most comfortable with ladder-wise, which is Raging Demon. I would probably bring a counter red deck, which is Shield Spire, probably the red-green version that I did in tournament. And then probably Ouroboros, since I'm already using Akuma, couldn't do Ashura, but I am, somewhat familiar with Ouroboros, and it does cover what I would think would be a lot of the other bad matchups, but I would be really afraid to run into like Temptation or something. I don't really have a good counter to that except for like playing red, but I also don't have confidence in playing Ami, so yeah, kind of some weaknesses in there, but
Why you take Unilis
tough.
Stengen?
yeah, exactly. But that's kind of what we're getting at the end of the day. It's like what makes a really good tournament lineup, and like you said, Iowa, I do like how you said it's a lot of like, being comfortable and familiar with what you're using. Like you can't just bring a really good tournament deck because it is going to perform well if you've never played it, right? Or you're not comfortable with it. So that's something to factor in as well.
Do you want to shift
Outside
to
of just
that?
matchups.
You want to talk about?
Hmm?
You want to talk about good tourney decks versus ladder decks because we haven't.
I mean, we've been getting into that already, right?
Yeah,
we
a
already
little
talked
bit.
about Jill and
Yeah.
Demon, DD, stuff like that. And then Temptation, obviously, like not the best to climb with, but is one of the strongest tournament decks in my opinion, by far.
So those inconsistent decks that we kind of make fun of for being on the ladder, those can be better in the tournament, right?
Sure. I mean, like I said, you only need that one win, right?
Yeah. It's just weird to think of it that way, huh?
Dump some people out.
There is a fine line though, right? Like I would never suggest bringing Dolomider Nero into a tournament.
Right.
Sure.
Because
No true power.
Oh,
No true
yeah.
power.
yeah, the problem with that deck is even though it can potentially like screw over someone else's plans, it doesn't have a very safe, consistent win con, right? It's just kind of
Right.
stopping you and hoping that it can, that you run out of a resource to take care of its Bolt Reaver Dolomider.
Damn, that deck is so lame. I hate it every time.
Yeah, it's the same reason like the decks that you see that are made 100% to just shit on one deck, right? Like those heavy shield decks and all that, like they can be good. They'll win on ladder, right? But they're not gonna. You got to beat the person twice, and that's the thing. It's if it's only it's specified to just beat one thing, it's not going to do really well. Versus like Temptation, obviously it's strongest against black, but it still can do really good against green. Because green is not terribly great at cycling, and they only have so many. I mean, they have a shit ton of seals, but they still will only have so many in a hand at a time. And purple can recover from one getting sealed and making that a threat again. So it's just it's one of those you can bring a deck that's really great at covering one matchup, but it also still needs to hold its own against other matchups.
They're taking Rebirth out, but you better believe people are still gonna try and make that shit work. They're gonna be like, Reckless Brawl, Reckless Brawl. Any brawlers in chat? Is right.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's cool that we did get to see Nero's other hero arts make it in. Because I don't think anyone was hoping for. I mean, some people might have been hoping for True Power, but I didn't think it ever had a chance. But we got to see both Devil Breaker and Hey Nico, which is pretty cool.
What about? What do you think of something to counter All Destroys DD? I was thinking about like worthy counters for that. How could you get around that? Because even when I know my matchups, I'm having a hard time with
Out
that.
of the like out of the decks that these people brought, or
I mean,
just
I'm
in
not
general,
sure.
because
They're not a.
Thirsty has unitless engine, right? And that
Yeah.
does beat All Destroy DD. It
Oh,
does.
yeah.
They brick and they give up.
Yep, it's great.
Yeah.
Love them using that cruel game on their one Alfred.
Cruel game.
Yeah.
Suck it.
But yeah, if you're bringing something that's fast, like aggro wise, it can be tough for even those destroyed black decks to keep up with. Like they have to draw their clears at some point, but if they don't, you can just get ahead of them.
Yeah, it's just
So
a
it's not
heavy
like
amount of
unstoppable.
it's a heavy amount of outplaying and baiting and just kind of not overcommitting. Knowing that like even when they want to save their destroys for a big target, like sometimes you just don't give them that chance, right? Like they'll have to interact with something when you're putting units down and they're not. It's not easy. You're definitely majority of the time, especially on ladder, if you're kind of playing a normal deck, you will be working a lot harder to beat them. But it's why I think like All Destroy DD is a little more risky in a tournament. Just because it just can run into a lot of bad things, especially. I mean, just play Ouroboros. There you go. You're stopping DD real hard there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I
And I
just
think,
mean like when sometimes I do get frustrated at that deck in particular, and then I'm just like I want to make a deck that not really actively counters it, but is strong against it, and I can just like come up with like fucking nothing because you know what? I love units. Can't get enough. Oh wait,
You play Ouroboros. You put in 3 units, you'll come out with 18.
you produce units now.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I think aggro can be really good against black, even if they do have, a lot of answers at first, because they do run out of those answers eventually. I mean, the biggest advantage that these, all destroyed decks have is the fact that, their opponent might play patient. And sometimes they have to, right? Like, a lot of the meta is very patient. They play slow. They're waiting for 10 MP before playing their combos, like Amy and Jill. Even Raging Demon does that, right? So it's a pretty good anti-meta deck in that regard, where, if you're playing patient against, a Dark Destruction deck, you're probably going to lose because they're going to have those answers and they can build up and, prepare for whatever you play. And then you might not ever get a hit on them because of that. Whereas the aggro decks are just playing out right away. And if, DD doesn't have those answers right away, they might be screwed.
I think Dongo put it really well during one of his streams that it's one thing that kind of separates. Actually, I think it was during the Meet the Player stream that Play TEPPEN did. That one of the most important things for like a top player and specifically playing against those decks is knowing when to go in for the kill. knowing when to you can rush in and just go hard on them. And that's kind of what you have to do with DD. Like Chris is saying, you don't want to play too patient because it lets them play the game they want to play, but you don't want to overcommit. So it's a fine line that you're walking when you're playing against them.
Right. If they're just staring at you and you have like one unit on the board and they're like taking a couple hits, you probably shouldn't play like 2 more units just to see what happens, right? Like I think we all learned that lesson by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just examples like that.
Damn. I guess if we covered the tourney deck stuff, I guess maybe what makes a good ladder deck? Or if it's just the opposite of what we've been saying is like consistency, Smile.
Oh, win rate. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Definitely win rate, consistency, lack of bad matchups.
Yeah. Handling the unexpected that you definitely will run into because, you know, a lot of randoms out there.
And randos.
I think Virus did a really well written article in general about, you know, the state of ranked play and what approach you should take. Don't be afraid to make adjustments if something isn't working for you with a deck. Just don't blindly like net deck top players and go like, oh, this isn't working. This must suck, right? I'm guilty of that, but you know, you have to tailor it to fit your play style or your weakest matchup sometimes at the same time in order to gain that consistency. But he said a really cool thing in the article where if you can beat even like terrible players, like if you win like 50 games in a row against a bunch of giant killers, you're not going to get that many points, but you are a good ladder player if you can win those games. Like maybe not all of them, right? Like you might lose one to randomness, but if you're winning a large majority and only getting like 2 points per win and you're getting frustrated, well, you shouldn't be because you are a good ladder player. It just doesn't show in your points, unfortunately.
Rando players scare me more than good players.
Yeah. Like anyone can get lucky against a top tier player at the end of the day, but consistently winning against like any of those lesser players is pretty impressive on its own too.
I know I see charge shot and I fucking freak out, man. I'm like, hell no, kill this guy as fast as possible, please. Like, charge shot A5. Ooh.
Depends on the charge shot. If I go into action phase and I see they got 6 mana, not dual color, I'm chilled. It's fine.
And
I'm
then play
still
God Card
not
Machine
letting
with
up,
auto
dude.
heal.
That's fine. I'll kill him in the
Oh no.
I
Yeah.
had a couple matches just playing around last night with like change form where like I got to pop off like a couple times and like buff my hand, but this guy just one unit. Can you guess what unit it was that he just fucking rode to the end? What unit in
A
green?
In green?
Oh, Rochi.
Shara?
Nah, Shara, yeah.
Oh.
I'm
No,
gonna be really mad if those heart tank decks are Shara decks. But God card?
not Godcar.
Heavenly Kickstron.
No, better than
Kushala.
HK Chun. Kushala, no.
You said this like it was easy.
It's for me. It's a common theme. It's Itsuki. It's just anyone playing green. They're just like, put this bitch on the board. Okay, haste. Okay, shields.
Right.
Oh, you put a unit in front. Okay, reset, seal, reset. Oh my god, it was so frustrating because I had this beefy ass hand. Things had been like, I mean, full MP. I'm just putting one unit down at a time to try and prevent them from doing any damage with this, and it's just like, I'm gonna reset your units. Like, you know that hero art you use? You know that 25 AP you use? I don't care. It's like I finally get a fucking hit in. It's just like shield. Okay.
It does raise an interesting question though, in terms of like what cards you would expect to see in certain matchups. But I'm curious for Worlds, like overall, out of all these decks, what's the one card you guys would never expect to see, especially in meta or on ladder in a meta deck? What's the one card you
Hope for
think
the
you'll
future.
see them play at Worlds?
Oh,
they're gonna
that
play-
you will see them play at Worlds.
Yeah,
No,
like
never mind.
what's the one card you think they'll fit in there? Like maybe as a surprise tactic or just as a secretly good card that we never expected to be good? But like, what do you think?
I
would show up.
would not be completely mind blown if we saw Omika if those X decks are mono green.
I always
Mika?
thought this car was busted. Hot tub time machine, dude. Timeless murder machine.
Oh,
Talk about like
That's
yawn
an
and stuff like
interesting
that. It's 3 for
Yeah.
4/4. Damn.
right.
You gotta
Like I think
send
Call to
3
Battle might
times.
be in a yawn deck, right?
You had to send 3 times, and if you're Raging
Murder
Demon or
machine.
Yawn, that happens in the first 30 seconds.
That's an exaggeration on Yawn. Not on Raging Demon though, but that is an exaggeration on.
It is. I'm just. I mean, once they get going, I feel like once they do that.
This card was
yawn-
great with old Yawn, where she could just throw away half her deck in 20 seconds, but she can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower, but I still feel like they rack up the Ascensions kind of quickly.
Demonic Eater, that's an interesting one. Yeah. It's
Demonic
never
Eater is
destroyed for
good.
black, but yeah.
It does feel
I-
really good to play Demonic Eater on like an Orochi or a Yukimura,
Yeah.
I will say. It feels really good.
Iowa, what do you think would show up at Worlds that you wouldn't expect card wise?
That's actually not an easy question because I wouldn't expect it, right? So how would I know what it would be?
Yeah. What
Um,
cards? Yeah. What cards do you not see that that you can think of seeing play? I guess.
That's a tough one. Maybe like Itsuki, like how Mala was saying, how that card is really good. I've seen that
Mhm.
card where it just kind of like runs rampant. So if it's in a green deck, I could definitely see it being very hard to deal with because if all you can do is trade on the board, you won't be able to trade against Itsuki because she makes it to where because of Crush, she'll just heavy pierce you and punish you for playing the game. But also it's very difficult to deal with her because she's killing your unit and you can't deal damage to her.
Okay.
God, the heavy pierce on that card is so like
It's
extra.
annoying.
You don't. She does not need heavy pierce.
Yeah, I think so too.
I know
Crush
we
is-
put her in Kami
good
tier for
itself.
green, but like I just I hate this
Yeah.
card. I my change form deck has had 1 obliterate and like 2 fates. I changed that oblit to a betrayal just because of this bitch. Hate it.
For me,
I do not want to nerf a card because of change form.
right.
I
For-
just
for
mean
me,
the
I-
fact that you can't use units to do anything to it. You pretty much are
Yeah.
forced to do an action to like incapacitate her, and that's a little much. That's kind of like FD Ryu in some ways. Not as oppressive, but it is
Yeah.
still kind of pinning me down.
Heavy Pierce just needs a nerf
Yeah.
overall.
For sure. For me, my off meta pick, I don't know. Am I allowed to say Dark Exchange? Because I feel like that is going to show up in a few black decks as a counter to black. But you don't really see it that often, right? But it does pop up every now and then. So maybe I should just go with something like V. Like I think we're gonna see some V.
Yeah,
Claire
definitely.
AA boom dead Itsuki. Well, she still has 2 HP left, and they have a billion shields, and they have a billion ways to replace the unit. I don't know. I've seen people bank way too hard into it, and they have all the shields ready for that. They could have 6 shields ready for that, and I guess maybe if Claire dies and you have another Claire ready, that's good. But you needed to use 2 Claires on a unit they already have. They have 3 of guaranteed in their deck, and they might even have gold orbs to get more.
Shields.
Yeah, dude. They play the shield first, you got 4 more MP than them.
Yeah, Demonic Eater heals. Ascension, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, well. They still carry a billion shields. Even if you down 1, they have another
Yeah.
one. I've been in that situation many times where it's just like you struggle against this card, and then as soon as you finally down it, they're like, well, I have another one now.
Right.
Or they put it down and immediately shield spire. And against red, they're just pulling your hair out already.
But I'm excited to see if they have any secret tech. Is basically what I'm getting at, because I feel like if they anticipate certain matchups, there might be a card that isn't considered to be that good.
Elder
Um,
Frost.
Same case with like hero arts, right? Like some of these hero arts aren't considered to be that good, but they're bringing them to tournament for a reason.
All right, I have a
And
card. I thought of one. The one that I
Yeah.
was not expecting. I think we might see at least one unleashed with all these Jills.
Yes, that's a good pick. That's a good
I like
pick.
that.
Unleashed, maybe some canine warriors, right?
I don't
no.
know about K9 Warriors, but
That'd be sick.
That would be
Canine
dope.
warriors, dude.
Like a potential what's his face? Donovan?
Dimitri?
Dimitri, yeah, sorry. I
That'd
got
be
the
dope.
2Ds mixed up. Yeah. Yeah. Just stuff like that, you know, just something that's a little off, a little different to make the deck unique as its own.
They throws for
I
a
mean-
real loop and actually bring Donovan. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah. It's just hard to do something with black because a lot of black is meta, right? So it's hard to pick like the odd out, right? Like we'll probably see a Malice. We'll probably see certain destroys that you don't normally see, like the what's it? The zombie one, Disease Souls, I think. I wouldn't be
It's so
surprised if we see that.
It's so strong it's
Um,
getting rotated out, dude.
Yeah. Like some weird destroys will probably show up. I don't know if just deserts will show up, but you know, I think sample collection will be there.
Just deserts.
Yeah.
Stop.
Just stuff like that. Anita's gonna be there, yeah, thanks Dango. That's a good pick. It's hard to say, yeah. Like if Dango's the only one using it, is it considered a weird pick? Like a weird card choice? I don't know. Like we're gonna see Kenshin, we're gonna see Nohime.
Oh, Cold Front?
These guys
Yeah,
covered.
I played against the Koha last night. That was just they were big bounce boys. They're like, yeah, have you ever seen this card? It bounced all my one attacks. It was like, thanks, bro.
Yeah, cold front. Yeah, and I do think we will see. I don't know, for the Rakoha decks, it's probably going to be Colleen based with a lot of weakness. So we will probably see some deadly traps and even a parry maybe and some skullduggery. But honestly, if you can bounce like any of those tall targets right against the Ouroboros or Ashura, you're definitely at an advantage. So it'll be interesting to see if they brought, you know, certain tech for those units alone, right? Because parry can bounce back tyrants right away, assuming no buffs.
What if they bring Envoy and then they use Storm Eagle, dude?
Storm Eagle. What are his numbers again?
111, but he gets 2 attack on the first, or sorry, 3 attack on the first hit. He gets an extra 2
The
attack.
first attack,
bringing it
yeah.
up to a
And then he
3.
gets debuffed. It's very similar to his action card that adds flight and then a temporary attack, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I do think we'll see a potentially a Dark Libido Morgan too from all the Temptations.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good call. She is a little more common nowadays, but considered a risk, especially against black.
I want to see Flame Stag.
Yeah, she would be cool.
Where's my Flame Stag boys? Where the
Man.
Stag boys at?
Flame Stag.
Indeed.
I was gonna say it would be cool if the Denjin player was using Bit, but knowing that it's Dango, I'm guessing it's not mono red, so I don't think there's gonna be a Bit.
Dude, Flame Stag
yeah.
for the Red Mirror. It is really funny because I did play that card. I forget what deck I
Yeah.
played it in, and it was just like you put it down and you watch the other guy just like, put down 3 things, action, it's finally dead. There, gone.
And then you play Rejuvenation.
Yeah, I should do something like that. Dude, this is my Flame
Maybe
Stag
some-
deck, and you run into a black deck, and they're like, your stags are dead.
Yeah, maybe some Neon Tiger at the very least. It's a bit more reasonable cost-wise for red to deal with against
true.
the mirrors. So
With 16 HP, bruh.
for how much again? 7? Flame Stag's a 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just surge it real
I'll take
quick.
the tiger.
I'll take the tiger.
Yeah.
See, if we had
I'll
more
take a tiger.
machine support, maybe it would be able to pop off, do something.
You
Right.
take Tiger, you give it Ride the Giant Weapon, and then you GDI it, and then it's almost a Flame Stag.
with Penga that reduces damage, yeah, about that. I'm not running that card.
Oh. Yeah.
Because you know what? 95% of the damage in this game is either on growth or through actions, so.
Right. And like if you look at all these decks, it's like we can figure out what the most common cards are going to be between these decks, right? Like literally every Jill is bringing the Molester. Like they have to.
They have to.
They have to. So like we can assume like a majority of these decks, but once it gets into the is it dual color or not, it gets a little, iffy. So I guess that's why we're excited for like the weirder choices, right? More than the typical ones that you see.
Yeah, Kuma, this
It'll be
is
interesting.
battle damage, so only stuff from lines coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It'll
sucks.
be interesting to see if what the GDI decks are too, because it's not necessarily guaranteed that they're all growth. Human GDI with the thing.
Yeah. That's true. It could be red green. Could be
Or just
red,
mono
I
red
guess.
human.
Like it could be a couple things. Same with like the die bomb choices, like die bomb and devil breaker, especially too. They've proven to be efficient in multiple colors. I just have a feeling. Go ahead.
We might see some black green spike launch again.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah,
no.
that's a good point too. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be mono, right? So
Yeah, battle damage only what like Sun Goddess should be. Yeah.
yeah, Goddess is basically a better penguin dude.
It's cheaper.
Yep.
It's cheaper, dude. Damn, and it's gonna last longer. Too.
Yep.
That penguin's not living for 25 seconds.
the only way I could use the newer penguin was like, all right, so we play Joe. We got 3 explorers. Then we play this an antibody. You try to like find machine-based explorers. There is one.
I like to
Purple spike
imagine
launch?
purple. I like to imagine that there's like new players coming in. It's like, I hear this penguin card's busted. Let me craft 3 of them.
Exactly.
This card sucks.
I kind of want to do that challenge sometime where you take cards with similar names that are strong, and you just use
Oh, dude.
their bad cousins.
Can't wait to see you running Cruel Game.
Cruel game. Yeah, dude. Who else? Carlos. We got Carl. We got four cost Carlos. He's not bad, but he's not the one you think of. So it's like
Yeah.
someone told me to put Carlos and Jill. All right, so I got Carlos.
Yeah, I don't have enough.
They were telling
explorers.
me that, oh, dude, Ken, you put Ken down, it's super scary. All right, we got Ken.
Penguin with Sun Goddess would stack. Yes, that's true.
Imagine to explore Carlos was the base. Like, oh my god. Oh my god, that'd be great.
Too bad.
What's another cousin here?
I don't know. I feel like if some Jills are running like Princess, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it requires too much babying. Fusei's
Yeah.
such a
Maybe-
yikes, dude.
Maybe that dude that gets you another explorer, the naked dude, whatever he's called.
Naked dude?
The 3/2 with agility. Oda?
Oh, Ida.
Ida. Yeah. Maybe, but I don't know. It seems to be the goal for most Jill decks is not to get more explorers in their pocket. It's just to, make use of their memory and
I think
get
the way
strong finishers.
I think the way Ida is set up is very good because it's viable for rocket launcher and nothing else.
Right.
Maybe for detonate if you really want more explodies, but like his stats, he's gonna be alive for all of 5 seconds.
Not if you antibody.
Oh whoa! 4
many,
or 5.
How many times are we going to see legendary Amy hit full growth value?
I'd say 5% of the time.
It's gonna be pretty hype when that happens, for sure.
It gets me really hype. Hype being slang for mad.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to think of like the cool scenarios, the cool plays that are going to happen. We can't predict it, obviously. But I think one of the most exciting things to me is if Last Guardian plays False Throne with that Tenkoha deck.
Yeah,
we won't know until he plays it, and it's just, oh shit, no,
it's
he's
gonna be
doing it.
hype in some way, but also kind of like
It'll be disappointing when he
caddy
loses,
mode.
but yeah.
I would be really sad for that just because everyone's playing remotely. Because I would have loved to see the dirty looks that the other player
Yeah,
would have gave them.
That's why we
Being
do
in the
face
same room?
cams,
They gave them
yeah,
webcams, so we will see their faces in the finals, I imagine.
We should. Yeah.
Oh man,
But
so
I
it's
don't
gonna be
know.
like when you watch a stream, but they're like, they got their phone down on the. Actually, they have stands, right, for their phones. Were they given
Maybe.
stands?
JoJo stands.
I
Yep.
don't know.
JoJo stands. But I can imagine like you watching them play and like let me turn on the camera for this. It'd be like you're on you're playing, your head's down, you just see like someone scalp the whole game.
Yeah.
If we see someone's mom walk in and say something to them, do they get banned for disqualified for
Coaching, dude. Oh man, I can also imagine. I wonder if someone's gonna forget to mute their mic or something like that. If they talk to themselves while they play.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna use the spectator mode, and they're probably just gonna be piping in the sound through there.
Oh, that's true.
They didn't
But,
send him a mic.
Yeah,
for
it
a
depends
reason.
on how they present it.
They didn't send him a mic. I mean, probably a headset, right?
Can't remember.
Yeah, they probably have a mic because last year they did on-stage interviews, and
Hmm.
dang, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I
Oh,
can talk
right.
about it, but there was actually at one point where Ryuzu was talking with Seltzer, and she had to like buy more time because they couldn't proceed the next round because there was a discrepancy
Mhm.
about one of the matches. They didn't understand like how possessing malice worked, and they're like, I think the game bugged out, or there was like, you know, something didn't happen right. And
Yeah.
then they had to explain it to them. They're like, no, this is how possessing malice is supposed to work. It just isn't worded that way for whatever reason.
Nah, don't worry. The card is supposed to be that stupid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's never.
I,
ending.
It's never leaving.
I considered the stream sniping pig, and I don't know if they're telling them to stream with a delay or not. But I don't even know what they're doing for the first day still. Have you guys heard anything?
No, I hope we get at
Nothing.
this mother.
Are they recording matches? Are they streaming them? Or I don't know. I've heard conflicted reports.
We don't know yet.
Yeah,
Wish we did.
I think someone was telling me they would have them on the channel later, but I think that was a bit of a misunderstanding because there's recent like watch videos related to Worlds, but those are about the videos that are in the channel now, which is like Ryan and Iowa's videos on YouTube. I think that's what it's for. It's not for watch the World matches in the channel a week from now or something like that.
Oh, something that
I
we
imagine
might
they
see
would
at
be able to
Worlds
come
that'd be
up
kind of
there.
hype. Green Imp. If someone throws out a green imp or two, that's gonna be hilarious.
Oh, Green Imp? Yeah. I'm more
It would
excited for
either
us.
be- It would either be Earth or Max or Max, right?
Yeah.
005.
It'd still be really funny to just see that thing hit the board and be like, uh-oh.
Oh. Yeah, because they're
Uh-oh.
both playing Yawn.
What if they seal each other?
Yeah, I don't know how that happens.
Imp's art? Yeah, he's
Yeah,
pretty
Imp
cool.
has good art.
What other cards would be hype? I'm trying to think. Something that we don't see all the time. Yo, man,
That beast
Aaron
guy
Banana.
that buffs beasts.
Say what now?
That
Oh.
beast guy that buffs beasts.
Utsunomiya
Yeah.
Hiro Tsuna?
That's a
Come
secret
on, you
tech
can't remember
right
that guy's
there.
name, dude?
Telling
That's
you,
a
you
secret
put
tech.
Sasquatch, you put this guy, then you put Legendary Feline, you got a board just right for Cruel Game.
Mhm.
See, it even says winning without fighting. That was his style. That was the style he believed in, which was a style at the time.
Play
1-3,
you
dude.
play the Wasps and you just flood the board and you win the game, right?
Sick.
Play out
He only
Sick.
buffs one. Oh wait, wasps are creatures.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're creatures.
Yeah. Yeah, they're creatures.
Only reason I know that is because I made a creature coral deck, dude.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty cool because you know what? I'm always concerned about putting stuff in my EX pocket. You know who does go back to the EX pocket every time he dies and is also a creature? Nemesis. Let's go, boys. So I put a couple malices in there. What if your
That's pretty
pocket was
funny.
constantly contributing to that discount? It's pretty sick.
It's pretty cool. It doesn't stay that discount forever, does it?
No, it's temporary, but you're always getting
Yeah.
that -1 out of it, which is nice. Because that's
Yeah,
what
it's
I
not
try
too
to
bad.
do is try to find ways to put stuff in my pocket, but sometimes it's, you know, never present or there's too much of it.
Yeah, I feel like what Dango's saying here is probably what they're gonna do.
I understand they're going to be streaming directly to Discord. Oh, Discord. With a TEPPEN judge in it. And they will likely
They're
just
probably
take
gonna
matches they
record
like.
everything,
Ugh.
but I don't know if we're gonna see it live as it's going down. Unfortunately.
We don't see it live. No spoilers from you guys in Worlds, Dongo.
I
Don't
kind
be
of
coming
still
in the
want.
chat being like, "I sweeped everyone." Like we know it's
Yeah.
gonna happen, but let us find out on our own.
I feel like people are gonna post on Twitter right away after they lose or something like that. That's usually what happens in fighting game tournaments anyway.
Plus it's vague. Like, God damn it. It's like, God damn it, I won!
Yeah. Yeah. It's either way, right? Like, oh, I made the top 4. Awesome.
They start posting the
Um,
tweet when Nightmare shows up and gets Flight in Tenkua. Like, well, I am eliminated.
So, I don't know. I still would like us to do some sort of coverage when it's happening, but it's going to be really difficult if we don't have a way to keep track of things.
Talking about finals, or we're talking about
Day 1.
Day 1.
Finals is going to be easy. We all know when it's going to be and where.
I guess day 1, really the best we could do is probably get a bunch of Twitter information, because if they post on Twitter, great. If they don't, then I guess we just don't have it.
Yeah. I just wanted to do like some sort of live updates or following along or bracket watch, but
Here's what we'll
we
do.
might not even
We'll
get access
all-
to live bracket. Like,
We'll all make the
Jesus.
decks we think they're making, and then we'll play out the rounds amongst
we'll
ourselves.
have to play it out. Yeah.
That
We'll pretend to
is
be
the
each
next best
player.
thing, yeah.
Oh man.
Dibs on playing as Dongo. I like
That would
playing
be
as
fun.
decks.
I do wish we had the full list then in that case, but I understand why they're not releasing them.
They'll just do it the same way they do with the balance changes, where they tell you like what's getting changed, and later on they tell you what exactly they're changing about it. It's like, here's the hero
Find
arts.
out later.
Here are the decks later on. It's like, whoa.
I hate that. But it's fine.
Spoony, dude. Spoony. I was like, who the hell is Spoony? It's funny.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Bird. I considered, and I thought they might actually do this for day 1, but then I realized like that would turn into a huge mess for people that wouldn't be able to watch it. But if they actually like gave the room codes out for you to tune in and like watch in the spectator mode, which would be really cool. But there's a 30 viewer limit on spectator mode.
They can't
So
do
they're-
that because they're playing on a special version of the game that has super spectator mode.
Yep.
That's also true. So I guess regular spectator mode would not be available in that.
You'd be playing on a different version of the game. You wouldn't be able to even see anything.
That's really weird.
Honestly, I felt like they could and should have worked in like a spectator mode for their super spectator mode thing, where us players can watch the day 1, day 2s and all that. I feel like that should have been a thing.
However,
I don't know why they're not streaming it.
an interesting point about this is that because they're playing on a different version, it's very possible they have a separate server for this, so they don't have to worry about like any kind of congestion or any kind of. I mean, I don't know if there's anything that comes along with that in terms of like lag. If
Oh yeah.
because I know like the heavy volume or the high volume of players, as soon as like a set goes live, that causes like some serious strain. So I don't think they'll have to worry about any kind of like small bits of lag that come out of like, volume, called concurrent users. So it'll be interesting.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't affect them in any way.
That you made a really great point, and I would definitely rather have the players have a lag less experience than to have us be able to spectate.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be on a different version of the game, Brad. It's a version with the super spectator mode. You doing
Makes
the
sense
world
though. If
champs-
it eliminates lag, then that's like as a competitor, that's what you want, right? It's more for the players than it is for the spectators.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, dude. If I do think about how I would have done in the qualifiers if I just played PB. Actual PB, not fun PB. But with that said, are we ready to move on to a topic that I picked out?
Absolutely not.
No.
Oh, okay. We'll just go to the end then. It's fine. We're done.
No.
No, nope. How about
But yes.
hashtag delete free match, dude?
Less laugh patch.
Yeah,
free play. Tell us what are your gripes with free match?
My gripes, dude. I don't know. I avoid free match as much as possible, but my points are kind of high. I'm like, well, if I want to do ranked and make it worth my points, I'm gonna play a deck that's like super serious, or at least kind of serious, something that had nice balance between fun and competitive. So my Shield Spire thing, Jill. I'm taking it seriously. But when I go into free match with stuff that I don't feel comfortable with gambling points for, which is okay as a concept, I run into people that are doing nothing but running the same decks they would run in ranked. Just the serious shit. The same decks we see all the time. Top tier stuff, and it's not even like they have to think about their plays. I just keep running into players that are making these decisive plays, and it's just like, okay, so you're not really practicing. You just want to go into the you study at high school. You leave the high school. You get in your car. You drive on down to the elementary school. Go to the playground. You start beating up some kids. You're just like, yeah, I can win this, dude. It's frustrating.
So I have a copy paste that I have in my stream commands that I took from Discord last year, I believe, or no, it was beginning of this year when Yawn was meta. I can just paste it here in the chat.
Go ahead.
I can read it off. I can't believe how insecure 90% of this player base is. Playing casual to avoid stress, and it's literally just ladder without points on the line. I get it. Y'all are brain-dead sheeple that can't think for yourself. Constantly selling your collections to make whatever brain-dead shit is winning at the moment. But honestly, how about just a smidge of creativity and bravery? Like this pathetic idiot. He did mention a name, but I took that out. Like 1,800 point Yawn in casual. Keck W. Grow a pair, buddy.
Damn. Keck W.
So,
Clearly mad.
This,
dude. Keck
this is
W.
like forever. This is forever going to be an issue, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it feels like it just gets worse every single card set, and I have less and less fun with free match. I barely ever do it because I know when I go in there, I am going to be met with the same set of stuff where it's just people that don't want to think. They just want to win. It's like that's how they derive all their, fun from this game, which is rough, man. Maybe if there was a, 2 levels of free match, but then it would still be the same thing, right?
Yeah, so the problem with that, right, is it's not a mechanics issue. Mechanically, free play is working as free play should work.
Oh, yeah.
It's a player-based issue, and that's definitely something that's kind of a lot more difficult to fix.
Absolutely.
If there even is a way. And it sucks because I mean we've all been there. We're all like, yay, we're playing against Ashura in free match. Yay, we're playing against Yon when Yon was meta. Just all these. It's kind of frustrating. There was a point too where it's like, I'm coming around. I understand. Like with Yon, I remember it's like, yeah, I see a lot of people play bad Yon, so I guess they would go into pre match to do a little bit better. But it's also just there is a lot of you don't need to be in pre-match. Your rank doesn't. You don't have a rank to rue it. Just go into rank. But it's yeah, it's weird though. Like in terms of like get rid of free match, I wouldn't want to do that because sometimes it's nice. It is a gamble though. Like when I was playing all monsters Ami, I was actually running into people playing cool stuff, and it was nice. It was the best of TEPPEN I've had in a long time. But it's just yeah, there's not much you can do when it's the player base controlling it.
Oh, I mean, for anyone that thinks that the topic thing is serious, no, that's hyperbole. I don't really mean get id of free match. I'm just kind of blowing off some steam on how people like
We need
to go
fewer
in there.
modes in this game. I agree.
Fewer modes. Room matches. Like you don't want to risk your points. Go find somebody.
It's
No.
ranked or nothing.
It honestly
with it.
feels like that to me sometimes because I feel like when I want to try something out, go into free match. And Gucci's saying if you don't want to fight a deck, just surrender. And that's not really the case. When you see a few cards, you're not really sure if the rest of the deck is going to follow suit. I guess I could do that after I see like maybe 10 or 15 cards, but on some decks, that's all they fucking need to win. So it doesn't take that long, but it feels like they're playing decks that don't allow the other person to play, and that's for ranked, sweetie. Go to ranked. I don't know. It's tough, and I know other people have had this problem before too, where it's just like someone's playing card for card GDI in free match, or like what I ran into once was Fade. It was red purple, basically using every single card from GDI, minus a few things. Got to put some purple stuff in there, and it was just like Jesus. If I want to go fight that, I'm going to ladder.
I think if the game was more balanced, free match wouldn't feel as bad to play because, a lot of the problem cards that we're seeing rotate after Dawn, once that rotates out, we don't have to worry about those toxicness in free match, afterwards. And I think that they should really relook at the design of the balance in TEPPEN because it is out of hand in some places.
The biggest thing this game I think needs right now is more constant updates, more consistent balancing. That's its biggest problem right now. I mean, that's where a lot of this frustration comes from, is like, we're tired of it, but people are, and there's nothing wrong with the people that want to play to win either, but if what wins is not changing, it's only changing like once every 3 months, then it's going to get stale really quickly, especially when it's oppressively winning, right? Because people will find other things and it'll get a little bit better, but it's just the oppressiveness of it makes it not even enjoyable to try to find those new things.
I agree with that. I would definitely like this game a lot more if we were able to have something new to play every month, I guess.
Yo, I mean, if they want to nerf X again,
Yeah.
just to give us constant updates, I'll take another X nerf. Just give us more constant updates.
Yeah, I mean, really, just delete X and give us more updates.
I'll take it at this point. Just let me keep my emblem, it's fine.
Yep.
Where is it? Where's my change form deck? 'Cause I'm just trying to have fun with this deck. I know it won't work on the ladder.
I mean, but Gucci, I mean, you're raising some interesting questions, right? Like, is it really that big of a deal that someone wants to play top tier and casual? And it's not just an issue for this game. I can tell you that much. It's an issue in any game. But if you want to experiment with something that sucks or is not going to perform that well, then you take it to casual. And then if you run into something that is going to absolutely whoop your ass, then you get frustrated because it's like, well, how am I going to find out? Like, I want to have fun, right? But I can't win with this against good decks, so I'm not having fun. it's going to happen. It's always going to happen. It's never going to change. Is pretty much what I'm getting at. Because there's always going to be a meta. There's always going to be a top tier, and there's going to be people that want to play it in casual match because they have either ladder anxiety or they have a certain amount of points that they don't want to ruin or whatever it might be, right? But if they got to do a daily, that's like win one game with Akuma, and it doesn't specify ranked match. You know, like it's not the end of the world if they decide to take Raging Demon and free match just so they can get a daily out of the way. To me, anyway. I know it sucks, and like even I've lost the meta, and I could be like, "Yo, ranked matches that way. Go there." But it's just the reality of the situation, right? Like it's something we all have to deal with.
Yeah, and also in terms of like two of Gucci's points, one being, you know, comparing it to a fighting game. Fighting games is not a fair comparison because there's a lot more execution in fighting games.
Yeah, less RNG.
So like it makes more sense that you would need to take a top team into free match because you actually need to practice your execution and your combos. There is a little bit of practicing with top decks in Teppen as well, but it's nowhere near the same level, right? And on top of that too, you probably heard a lot less frustration of this 2 months ago when the set was new in terms of free play. I don't think anyone was complaining about it with Ami. And it's the problem of, you know, you mentioned getting matchup experience against top tier decks and free play. That's not really valuable right now when we've been playing them for 3 months in ranked and free play. So when you want to try things out, but no, I mean, I also agree with Chris that you can't be entirely, and I am definitely guilty of getting toxic at people when I see those decks in free play, especially on stream. But you know, I understand too. It's like, yo, some people are just trying to get their dailies done, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, if I get a daily for, yeah, I guess the same exact example, Akuma. Like, yeah, I can make something fun with Akuma, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna take the Raging Demon that I have saved, go play that.
You need a win, so
yeah. Oh, especially if it's a win, then I'm definitely not taking a silly deck. I want
like
to
win one game with a black hero, win one game with a green hero or a red hero or something like that. I mean, if it's a green hero, you might just refresh it for something else. But
that's what I've been doing.
You know what I'm getting at, right? Let's play 30 revenge cards. I got that one the other day.
I could do that in one match.
I almost did. Yeah, I got the 23, I think.
Sick.
With the Dark
That should be the next
Revenge
challenge. See how many revenges you can get with Sigma in one match for that daily quest.
Does it say like the daily challenge?
Yeah.
Matchup experience is always relevant. I never say.
I disagree with that. I mean, at some point you just know a matchup in and out, and there's really not much you're learning, especially when you're trying to play other decks. I don't know. I think you're coming too hard in a fighting game mindset with it. You can definitely learn a lot more in it in a fighting game. I'm not learning much anymore about, you know, Penguin, Rashid, Isun blowing up everything. And
I think especially when like prepping for a tournament, I think like free match is one of the weaker places to go to. I mean, obviously a lot of people just played room matches with each other, testing decks out, but ranked is also a valuable place to go for testing certain decks that you want to bring to tournament, sure. But free play, it's like a whole mishmash, right? Like you don't really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but you can also just get that experience in ranked Gucci, right? Like I don't see the reason, like I don't see defending free play to go in there to play top tier decks for that specifically. You could just go into ranked for that.
Yeah, it's kind of the idea anyway.
I think this is the match that made me switch my Oblit to a Betrayal.
That's fine, but when you say it like that, Gucci, you're invalidating the other people that disagree with you. You're invalidating their opinions. And that's not okay either, like for the most part.
I can understand both sides though. Yeah, if people just want to get a couple matches in.
Oh, they see it as free matches, and it's very easy for them to win. That's why they go in. They're like, oh, it's like y'all are free. It's like, oh, this is great then. This is great.
It's hella free. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, fuck this match, dude. It's fucking terrible, dude. Reset every goddamn thing you have. Dude. But yeah, I think see some annoying ass Eatski action, dude. Eat's killing me inside.
Oh,
Got him, dude. Do I drop? Do I drop fucking? No, I didn't do it. So this motherfucker had another reset, dude. Oh, so mad. We can fast forward now that we're not talking in the background, but just love how you get this big ass board with change form. It's like that doesn't mean anything. And now he's got two at the same fucking time. And then shield. The fact that it's just
Shield keeps
implausible for me to fucking do anything if I don't use a destroy is just ridiculous to me. I guess I should be running Alexia's in this deck, but yeah. I definitely think that there are too many valid destroys in black, but at the same time you do need some, as demonstrated right here. Just these two cards are just killing me, dude. Maybe they can introduce an incentive to practice heroes you don't normally practice in free play.
That's what the daily
Dailies.
quest is trying to do.
yeah, pretty much.
Quest board. Wait, did I have a rematch against that player? I might have.
But yeah, essentially, you're not really going to ever find that perfect balance because you're always going to have two subsets. You're going to have the competitive players, ones that, do want to, don't mind going against that over and over because it is giving them that matchup, kind of like what Gucci's saying. But then you do have the players that do just kind of want to play for fun. And unfortunately, TEPPEN doesn't have enough modes for that, right? Like, the biggest solution would be more modes, right? Something like a battleground mode that, like other card games tend to have, or
Like a draft mode?
yeah, there you go, draft mode. That's what I was thinking of, something like that. There's a
That'd be
lot of
cool.
options.
Be cool.
Yeah,
You get mad at the person that drafts all the legendaries.
See, that's fine.
I drafted 3 False Thrones, Living Death, and Titans.
Yep.
See, this got the pop off, dude. This was a good match. Because I had all my destroys ready. It's funny because I don't even have many destroys in this deck, but I pulled them toward the top and it just felt like it was super oppressive. I don't even think I got to use change form in this entire friggin' match. Oh wait, they have that one card. Dude, Eatski, bunch of shields. Yup.
Yeah, that was a good use of that, right? Because he didn't want that one damage. Well, actually, he would have took no damage.
You would have taken 0,
like-
dude. Would have pierced.
Could have just whatever.
That's fine. Maybe someone's actually figuring
he
things
was-
out, but
If it was at 5 mana, I would have understood.
dude. I don't know if did you guys see the clip I put up this morning? Is that
Oh, the change form clip?
yeah, that change form clip.
I did see that, yeah.
Notice how that was my last game played, where I got it and I was like, all right, fuck everybody, go to bed, dude, go to sleep.
That was the one.
I mean, that's pretty much how, I don't know, is that how you guys do a free match sometimes? You just like try to end on a good one, just like, eh.
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, I was like, end on a win, for sure.
To be fair, I have no idea how change form works. It buffs your entire hand, your units by 2/2, but you have to be under 15 health to use it.
It's like 2 Hope for the Futures, so it's twice as bad.
Holy shit, dude. It's twice as bad. It is booty because you know what? I played some matches like, let me find that one.
So why this change form crusade that you're on, Mallet.
It's not a crusade for change form. It's just a crusade to be able to play fun decks in fucking free match. It just happens to be what I wanted to play last night.
Well,
This person
I guess
was just not feeling
it's
it.
your definition of fun, right? Like
Playing units, yeah.
it's.
I mean, there's plenty of decks that could play units that aren't change form, though.
Yeah. Like, is it fun to you when you're using a deck that isn't considered to be good, but then you're beating good decks with it?
Not that I had
Like
to.
that's considered fun, right?
That is fun, but I would not consider it like the only part of fun. For me, it's really just, do I actually get to make the synergies in my deck actually work, or is somebody just trying to go around my stuff? Because that's not fun. It's not fun when someone, abuses one mechanic and goes all the way to the end. This is what happens here, is that they abuse Dante, and it really incentivizes and it further validates people using heavy destroys, just a bunch of heavy destroys.
So you're just in it for a good game, a good match.
Yeah, I want
Win
like
or
some
lose.
actual back and forth where it's like we actually are kind of even because we're both trying something out, something that isn't all over the place on ranked. It's not.
Yeah.
Play
Yeah, I get that. I respect that.
Because I'm trying things out. I know they're not going to fly in ranked. I know Amis are going to tear me up. But so I go to free match. Amis still tear me up because that's where they all are, dude. They're not all of them, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think just with that mentality, you're bound to have a frustrating time at the end of the season, or well, the expansion, right? Because trying to find the new things now at that point is just way more difficult, and especially things that are new that have a chance to actually not just get blown up.
Well, I just wish there was a smaller gap between the best decks that everyone's net decking and taking into fucking free match, and decks that have synergy but maybe not like the best. But unfortunately, the stuff that's the best allows the least amount of playing from your opponent.
I will say at this point in this meta that I do think it's closer to that. I mean, there's so many cards now, there's so many heroes that there is just going to be completely trash want things and concepts, and unfortunately I do think like change form is one of them, a lot of Dante things are one of them, X is one of them, but I do think there are options. It just needs to be kind of combined more with more viable things, if that makes sense. Kind of like, because you could like try different synergies out.
I mean, the only thing that I'm lacking is a bunch of heavy destroys and all the shit that makes All Destroys Wesker really popular on the ladder.
Why specifically like change form synergy? Like, how come not trying things out with like GDI in different ways?
Because
Like,
I think it's kind of been
like-
explored to death. I think everyone plays Amaterasu whenever they play it. It's really just GDI and maybe Envoy, but they don't want to go that far out of their range of comfort, so they just take a GDI deck and they're like, "Ooh, Envoy now, it's a different deck, see?"
Well, I mean, but they're using the exact same deck, right? Like, I mean, I was having fun making an all red monsters deck with GDI. Because I know like Shmo was like, do it with Genjin because of a Cantor, and I was like, that doesn't seem like it'll really like hold in terms of doing things. So it's like, oh well, GDI helps. It heals them. It does damage. That does some synergy with all the monsters wanting to get hurt. Even though it's not a big healing, it's a little bit of enough. Because I feel like you're double dipping in the making things difficult for you with bad hero art and difficult deck.
I think I just want to make a deck that synergizes with the hero art rather than the hero art as an afterthought. And I think what I have going is pretty good for buffing the hero art, but the fact that it incentivizes having a bunch of units means you should run fewer actions. Okay, run few actions and make them really kind of worthwhile, or at least something that you can get rid of quickly. But what if you can't put too many actions in it then, or else it really messes up your like the hero art that's already undertuned to the point that it's not going to be worth it, even if it is full of units to buff.
Right.
So, I guess I wasn't. It's the same way I like to play Coral. It's unit-based stuff, but it feels like actions are just the meta. And if you're not using a ton of actions, then you better have some damn good growth effects. And it's just frustrating because I feel like once I get to the end game, if I am allowed to get to 15 HP and actually have some breathing room, where there's not already a unit coming in with combo and 6 attack, I can actually play the game.
Yeah, just change form is just poorly designed. I think when this game came out, being at 15 health seemed okay. But unfortunately, where the game has gone with power creep, being at 15 health is basically you're one hit away from death. And that's why it just doesn't really hold or fly anymore. Like, it's really rough.
GDI is almost a better swap for any hero, it seems like. Yeah, honestly, I mean, the joke aside at the end, I really do think that if you're playing a red deck, it's kind of like, it's not working. It's like, have you tried it with GDI? It's like, I understand you have Dark Exchange in this deck, but could you try to do it with GDI?
Right.
I don't know if actions are the meta. I mean, for the most part, there are a couple exceptions, but I think if you look at the ratios, they lean pretty heavily on like what used to be like dangerous before. A number of actions you're running is now like kind of the norm. It's like, what happened to Jill? She became viable once they stuck a bunch of fucking actions up her deck. So.
Yeah, I mean, actions have just become overblown, too strong. It's fortunately been like that for a bit. But
Yeah.
When I brought up GDI, I wasn't trying to like make the point of everyone use GDI. It's great because that seems to be where chat has gone with that. It was just more of like, oh, I use GDI because it actually synergized without being
Right.
the oppressiveness of that. I mean, like the original idea was Denjin. I mean, I went to Denjin, a hero art that everyone thought was dead, and found the synergy with that based off like the meta and all that stuff too. I mean, that's not to say it's not a great deck by any means. And it's definitely not going to be everyone's style, but it's just I do think that there is a struggle for a lot of players to try to find that uniqueness, and that uniqueness leads to a lot more frustration.
Right.
Just kind of like being a little too stubborn to kind of accept a lot of the shortcomings of certain things. I know I've been there. Yeah.
I mean, I'll accept the shortcomings of changed form just fine, and Coral the same things. They pretty much have the same flaws, but it's just frustrating to see a match designed for experimentation used just as a way for people to just turn their brains off and try to get a win where it doesn't even matter. So it feels like they don't really. They're just playing. And I'm trying to find stuff out, but I can't really collect any data on how these cards work well together whenever they won't let me even play them.
Fair. And the devil, I mean, we made all the points on the devil's advocate side of that of, what things seem brain dead to us are actually still difficult for a lot of players to understand. And also just lots of players just trying to get their dailies done and move on.
It was what was the flipping point for me was just seeing some not this match in particular, but some of the matches I played last night where people were making these very decisive moves, and it was just like, that does not seem like traits of somebody trying to learn how to play a deck. It seems like they're just trying to get some wins. And I don't know, man. If you want to do that, just go play the AI.
Right.
They might have that beat a poor player in free match daily
The
quest.
daily beat someone trying something new. Oh shit, dude! Got that one yesterday. 5
They
times.
had that elusive get 5 packs for beating a change form in free match.
I have been seeing a lot more change form, but it's like it's the struggle. It's the struggle, man. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to make it work, but it's really fun to like get this beefy board. But it's also really frustrating. It's just like, oh yeah, reset, yeah, crush, heavy pierce, yeah. I don't really care what you're doing. Shield, yeah. This match, by the way, dude, this match, I felt so good about that. But this is somebody playing kind of familiar deck with a new hero, right? So it kind of lines up with what we were talking about before. And I respect that.
Did you win this match?
Did you win? Yes, that's why I'm excited about it.
That's why you respect it.
Hey, yes, dude. That's
Yep.
why I respect it. No. I mean,
much.
because he pretty much is running GDI, but he's running with a different hero art. Sure. We've all done that before. It's pretty much what I did with Schmo. I mean, he had Double Breaker deck, and I just pretty much took it, adapted it into Shield Spire.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
okay. So I bring this up because the point is you say you respect it, but this has been around on ladder for a bit using the Shinku version.
Really?
And has been climbed with. Yeah. So
I haven't seen it.
that's why. Yeah. So that's why it's kind of a like interesting thing, right? Like to be mad that it's ranked decks showing up, and then this one a little more fine with it. It sounds like just because you haven't seen it, but
Yeah, maybe I'm just unfamiliar with it. I have honestly not seen this. I've seen more of the playing Envoy with GDI. I've seen that a lot more.
Ryo's been making a little bit of a resurgence back, and it's pretty much just Ami decks, but with Shinku.
That's really unfortunate.
Right.
I mean, I guess you're still trying to like play the hero you like, even if it means it's pretty much like in TFS. A lot of the qualities we were seeing in the X decks that you guys were using in that X versus Jill thing were like it was kind of like Yawn, but you have to tweak it a little bit to match Heart Tank.
Oh, these
you-
Ryu decks aren't tweaked at all.
It's not tweaked at all.
Switch.
Fair enough. But maybe
I mean, you're swapping a damage hero art for a damage hero art.
yeah. Is it all damage? You're damaging the whole board. Or you're just damaging one slot. You ready for this move, dude? You ready for this schmove, dude? It felt so good. But and it's just I wish I could tell right away if someone is running something that's just carbon copy. If I know I'm going to run into meta decks, if I can see it really quickly, then I guess abandon the game. But I also do want to. I am curious to see how it matches up against some of these decks, to an extent. If it's just to expose the fact that Change Form has a shitty early game, thanks, fam. I didn't need any extra intel on that one. I guess what decks do you guys like to play in free match? And why do you
Zero
play in
attack.
free match?
Whatever I can win with. Yeah. What do you think, Iowa?
Whatever I can win with.
Yeah, I'm the same boat with Christie. I
Oh,
would play anything
shit.
I could win with, and I'll play zero attack Morgan all day.
Holy shit, you guys.
I will play pretty much anytime I'm just making a new deck, even though it's like I know it's gonna be competent enough for ranked, but generally like now I'm messing with green black spike launch again, and so I've been running that in free match. Well, now I moved to ranked now that I got a couple under the belt in free match and got comfortable with it again. But I did run into Iowa zero attack deck like 4 or 5 times in a row. The first 2 times were cool. It's like, all right, let's see how this goes.
The first 2 times were cool, dude.
See how
And
this
then-
goes.
And
how
then
this
it's
turns
just the fourth time I was like, I'm just tired of this shit. That's when I just started leaving.
Yeah.
See,
Is
Gucci,
it
that's
really
a
that
that's a good
prevalent?
deck to use in free.
It was
roam.
the same guy. I even like waited in between matches. It was just he was just waiting for me to queue up. He was stream sniping me, even though I wasn't streaming. It was ridiculous. It was the same guy every time. It was probably Iowa's like third Smurf account.
Could be.
He's playing multiple games at the same. Wait, who was doing that? Was that Iowa? I think it was. At one point, you were playing on your Smurf and your main at the same time. I'm like, dude, calm down.
Oh yeah, that was me. And then I faced against myself.
Wait, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Jeez.
Pog, dude. Excellent. But I play the dickhead version with all actions. Oh, that's gross. I mean, it's still something to try out. I have thought about adapting a dungeon, like a unitless dungeon, into Ultimate Weapon. So it's still something to try out. Hell, even dungeon isn't run that much. You might still need to test some things out, but I don't know. QB. I don't know about QB, man.
Oh yeah, I'm always
to be
tweaking that
owned.
dungeon list. I still enjoy it. QB? Nah, fuck QB. QB sucks.
I don't know.
I
am I gonna
ran into
pay?
that 3 times today.
Yeah, that,
Against the same
QB?
all that had like the two Hellbats and the QB. It was like, god damn it. I was watching Iowa stream
Yeah.
like, god damn it.
It was the same game, but they played QB like 2 or 3 times, and I was just surprised.
They replaced QB with QB. It was like, all right, all right, asshole.
QB's problem is that like she's single target, so it's like at some point all those buildups don't matter anymore.
I mean, it's the same thing that kind of made PB Dive Bomb less viable for me, is the fact that like it's random damage, but it's single target. So if anyone has a shield, you know that random target is just gonna gravitate toward that shield.
Nice little shield poke though.
I really want to try and make PB Dive Bomb work some other time, but I don't know, man. I think it's just not fast enough. I'm not cheering whenever my units die.
But look how fast Kenshin's running.
Dude, he's running. I wish I had more of those guys. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck, he's got the DoorDash, dude. He's like,
Yup.
you want that Wendy's? Bring it to you right now, dude.
It's Coke Gaming running to your stream.
Gaming,
I-
no way.
No way, dude. Don't look at the trees in the background. It's actually a little. It's gonna give you some motion sickness.
Mhm.
Love that card when you're fast forwarding in a replay.
it's just a blur, dude. I know we were making fun of somebody that used Devil Trigger on a Kenshin and Iowa stream, dude. It was like 0 tech. Okay, enjoy that. Oh,
Just
yeah,
thought
that
of
was the
another. Just thought of another unexpected card that I actually think we'll see at Worlds.
what's that?
Kushi
Oh,
with that thunder.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
I do like it as
Yeah.
like kind of a reverse shield, or kind of like a situational shield, right? Like an attack's coming in, you're just like, nah, I don't want you to counter. Gucci. Gucci. Cut that out.
I think Thunder Brew in the right situations can beat a lot of matchups, or certain units, I guess, that would
Agreed.
previously have been conceived as, unstoppable, right?
Oh, dude,
Not,
Gucci's.
not necessarily the perfect Orochi counter that people were expecting, but you have to think outside of that, right?
Still a solid Orochi counter though.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's not
but
terrible.
not like the gaming one.
You got emote only for a few minutes.
Right.
What do you guys think? The antlers are coming out of his eyes. It's so unsettling.
Those are eye beams.
Very nice.
Eye beams, dude. What about how do you guys feel about worlds in emote form, dude? Tell us how you feel, dude. Gasp.
What's the emo for?
Did you say emo or emo?
Emote, because I put it in emote only. Arc redeemed in the emote only chat, dude. The Santa hat on the mole, the Santa hat on Sherry is fucking great. Do not like this, dude. And you'll be fine, Dongo. I think even if you lose round one, the Japanese community is still gonna love you. I don't know why. Why do they love you so much? I'm gonna put a hat on that gun.
Why do they love you so much?
Yeah, I never
Question?
noticed how much like I never understood why they were just like, yeah. Maybe it's because he plays Dante, the Dante hero. Hype train. The mold.
Pipe train.
Oh well, anything else? Oh, dude, the thinking hand with the gun is awesome. I just farted, dude. There you go.
Good one.
What?
Mean that, dude.
What?
Huh?
What?
The hat on the gun, dude. Merry Christmas, dude.
Hat on the gun. Nice. That's pretty good.
It's a shame you can't do that with the bit emotes, dude. You do the Rufus with the the
Yeah.
thinking hand, like, oh.
Right.
Scrooge, dude. Oh, dude. That's why it's difficult to find another like streaming service to potentially move to. It's like, damn it, you guys with your emotes. I can't lose my emote power.
Right.
Obliterated. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
Nothing on my
To
end
not
that I
let
can
us
think
end on
about.
my
Not
bitching.
necessarily, no. What is Tango trying to do here?
Just trying to do the Exodia, dude.
Little off. Close though.
It's a shame because emote only doesn't include what do you call it, BTTV stuff. So I think I still have the X Hunters one. What's the X?
No.
Just X Hunters.
Right.
Freedom. Oh man, some of those are great. Dude. The gun with the hat, I can't do it. But to answer the question, I have no fucking idea why the Japanese players like me. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Maybe it's because you're like you came out of nowhere with a hero that people want to see more of.
Yep.
Anytime that you can kind
Maybe
of
it's-
do well with a hero that no one really has any attachment to.
Or maybe they just really like dingoes.
Oh yeah, man, that's it too, dude. the gun stab, dude. Oh, dude, I can't handle it. That said, we got stuff coming up next week. We got a whole mess of stuff. We still, hopefully, there's some way to view day one stuff. And even if it's a highlight, hopefully it won't take too long.
Yeah. Really
So hopefully by next week we'll
Kids.
have some insight on what those matches have been like. Wiki told me the Japanese players like me because it made the Nier look decent. Oh, I haven't seen any proof of this though.
I don't believe you.
That's super cool, dude. I am mad envious of that. That's cool. Telling you, man. If I went to Worlds, player profile would have been like Mallet Moogle, Gay man, get angry, dude. At video game. Here he is calling someone a bitch on stream, dude. Might be a nice little fun thing is not to put it not to put together our own player profiles, but just kind of what would yours look like? But until then, we got stuff next week. The 19th is day 1. Don't know what's gonna happen then, but finals are on the 27th. Don't know if we're gonna be able to see the matches live or close to live, or if it's just gonna be reruns. Oh, I forgot they have that prediction campaign. Where can I find that? TEPPEN the game?
Oh, there's also that room match campaign, which I still haven't done any.
Whoops. No viewer matches? Any?
Too busy trying hard in free play.
Right.
Too busy with my raging demon, dude.
Room matches is where I go to try out stuff.
I would, but then people are just like, I'm gonna beat your ass, streamer. I know you like to play units, so I'm gonna fucking kill them all, dude.
Bring all those shields.
Bring all those shields. Put your Itsuki down, put some shields on her.
Bring Jonathan's Blazing Wall, all shields deck.
all shields.
He's got the tech, man.
Make streamer mad tech. Where is it?
Streamer mad tech.
Supporters aren't forgotten. The support campaign, right? Is that what that is? The supported
like that, yeah.
contestant wins. Fun.
Yeah.
Rome. That's too big. Latest pack ticket to be added at a later date ×3. So you pick a winner. If you're right, you get 3 pack tickets, and if you're wrong, you get 1 Tale of Amatsu no Kuni pack. The application form is here. If the operations team finds any unintentional misconduct, dude, someone just like, they just get everyone in the community to vote for one person and they just throw. We got that. And room match event, which ends, oh, that was on the 6th. Done.
Yep.
Over. No room matches.
Done though.
Any campaign?
Foreshadowing.
SP Pack 5, which don't really have too much that's special. It's kind of a remixed. It's got these skins. I think we got a pack or 2 from this for free, right? SP5.
We did.
Did anyone get anything?
We did not.
We did not. Went and cooked and ate dinner, showered, and watched a little Netflix. You guys are still here. Just like, what do you people do? Who are you people? They use Spectator for Worlds. They use Super Spectator mode, which is being able to see both players' hands and all their moves at the same time. So that'll be a treat.
So this is gonna be crazy to talk about, but I re-looked at the spectator, super spectator mode thing that they were showcasing, and it was actually kind of buggy.
Oh yeah,
I noticed a lot of bugs.
Buggy.
Yeah, there were a little bit a couple inconsistencies with mana, but I'd imagine
Yeah, I
those will be
believe that.
fixed by the time it goes live.
Hopefully.
Either that, or we'll have some people playing units at 0 MP. It'll be really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't affect the players playing.
Oh yeah, yeah. They got the tech, dude. 0 MP units, dude. They have 1 cost actions, but can we have 0 MP units, please? All right. I guess if that's it from you guys, then we're done ski.
I think so.
We call that fighting game strat, dude. Pairing, frame perfect, mana perfect blocks, dude. So let's take a peek and see who is streaming. Any streamers? Any? Oh my god, 14.
Great answer.
Wow. Did anyone hear that?
No? You're what?
I pulled up Twitch's front page and it auto-played something, and BTTV went to silence it, but it got us a couple words out, and it said, "Great answer."
Oh. I did not hear that, no.
Did you guys speculate a new hero? No.
Nope.
Nope. Never heard of it. Never been a new hero. Never will be. Good. We'll have to wait. Any suggestions for who we? Oh, we got cosplay. You guys want to raid
Nice.
cosplay? He's not playing
do it.
TEPPEN, but we could probably bully him into it.
Let's not do it.
Let's
Let's
not.
not do it.
No,
Aw.
do it. He still plays the Bep.
He still plays Beppin. That's why I'm saying we can just bully him into it. Let's head on over there. Thank you guys for watching.
Good show, good show.
Raid Impact Wrestling. Good stuff. That was a lot of fast-paced stuff. Everyone had lots of opinions about the world's decks. We'll have to see. We'll see who wins.
Yeah, I thought it would take a lot longer.
Same high density action. It's not nice to bully people. I mean, I don't mean really bully him. I'm just saying.
Oh, can they still hear us?
Yeah, they can still hear us.
Please
Tell
don't bully.
cosplay to play GDI and free play.
Please don't bully.
What is this? Play some GDI? If you...
Yeah. No, play Ashura and draw a Rochi every time in free play.
Hell yeah.
Hell
See
yeah.
how many people enjoy that.
All right, I sent them over.
Okay.
Not really bullying, right? It's like, no.
What is it? 11? That's not bad actually. I thought we would be a lot longer.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I think everyone was.
Do I want to beat him and his friend up again?
we were moving pretty fast, so I feel like it was people were contributing. It was going back and forth. There wasn't like too much silence until I started bitching about free match.